for the sub.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Thank you for the sub. Hit subscribe. Hit that like and check the description.
One of the darkest things I've seen is TikTok lives, and you'll see the people that are they're on autopilot, and they have all of these like rituals that they do to signal for their viewers to like subscribe, or like they'll have like weird hand motions, or they'll like say the same phrase over and over and over again. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Dude, TikTok lives have been my shit recently.
But
it's very dark. There was one guy who's just like, hey guys, that's right, lucky potato, and it's this guy with like a potato filter on his screen, and then he's opening Pokemon cards packs, and he's doing it so rote, like he's done it 100 times. He flips them over, goes to like the whatever number card that he knows is gonna be the holo, and he goes, oh, Fiddle and the Holozord, that's a hologram. All right, opening next one. Thank you so much for this up. And it's just like that. I saw a Vietnamese guy with like a fucking racing rig going like, ah, like driving the one I posted on my story. And then there was one real quick. It was a fucking it said medically retired cop playing GTA 5 role play, and he's like, yeah, you think you're a bad guy, but now you're in jail. And he's like,
let me go ahead and get those cuffs on you off you real quick.
Yeah, and he's got like monitor here, monitor there, monitor there, monitor there, and it's like clearly that guy's making a full-time salary.
The one I wanted to mention, it's a sin that I'm gonna bring this up without just pulling up the video. I might have to like do that next episode. It's somewhere in like Southeast Asia. If anyone has seen this guy on TikTok, and I'm only bringing this up purely on this point about they're deep in the algorithm and they're on autopilot and they're doing repetitive weird shit because they know it's gonna like help them boost their account. It's somewhere in, I don't know if it's like Malaysia or whatever. This dude sits in like alleyways. This is like a developing country. He's like in like streams of water, like in the alleyway with a mermaid with like mermaid pants on, and he splashes in the water. He just splashes in the water like this, and he goes, and then like periodically watch. All right, now I feel like I gotta find
I
this.
feel like you gotta
because
I want that. I want that. I just want that to be it.
Real quick. He periodically, so he has the splashing motion thing, and people are watching, like in the thousands. They're watching this, and then he'll just like subconsciously, like on a rotation, he'll just be like,
oh man.
It's literally
he's feeding himself doing
darkest timeline shit. Yeah.
It's so dark to me.
What's that Netflix show? The
Black Mirror?
That's like some Black Mirror shit.
I thought you were thinking Squid Game.
I will find this for y'all. I have it on my phone. I just have
that is
thousands
literally
of
Squid
videos.
Game.
Yeah, right.
I will find this for everyone so they know I'm telling the truth.
Like,
No,
bro,
I mean-
I watched a porn star play Sekiro on Twitch for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
I feel like that was, the best it could get.
Yeah, dude.
know?
Well, there's
That
streamers
sounds
where-
normal to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
honestly,
like,
It's not just like
comparison.
it's not just like.
That's what I'm saying. In comparison, it's like at least she's doing something. Yeah.
And then he'll occasionally lean in and he'll like check the camera like.
I found a guy who is missing. Imagine if you just took a shovel and took this part of your whole head off, and it was like, and he has like a tube, and he's just DJing in his back.
Oh, he's awesome.
Yeah, that guy.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. You've seen
he's
him, right?
Sick.
Yeah.
Never
He's
seen this
actually a selector. He actually knows how to spin. Like he's a
No,
good
100%.
DJ.
There's another guy.
He dances too. Yeah.
There's
I know
a
you're talking
lot of
about.
disabled people are on TikTok Live. I see them all the time. And
Yeah.
there's another guy who is like a fucking pro Apex Legends player that is literally quadriplegic. He's doing it with like his mouth.
Oh,
with like
shit.
his breathing and shit.
Wow.
Like, he's like it's a straw basically. And
See,
he's
that's
literally
fire.
like he's literally
Yeah.
just like
Y'all
it's
are
like
fucking incredible.
Y'all are talking about cool internet shit now. You're talking about porn stars playing Sekiro and someone disabled
I just want to
body
get
a
out of
game.
this.
Like,
I want to get out of this dark space. I'm just like,
I'm there. I'm like, let's see how dark it really gets.
That shit
the
feels
well.
so bleak to me. I'm just like, let me watch Adriana Chechik play a Souls game real quick.
Well, that sounds great.
It was so fun. It was very entertaining.
I see guys that are. I also get like dudes who are like the biggest anime heads ever, and they've got like a fucking S tier to F tier like rating list, and it's like 50 anime they've seen every episode of. And they're like, yeah, thanks, bro. Yeah. Oh, you think Bleach is overrated? I mean, that's your opinion. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for the comment.
Where's Naruto on the list? It's right here, bro. You can't see it.
Thanks for the donation. Thanks for following.
Yeah.
That shit is so sad to me.
Yeah, no, that's.
I would get so bummed out sometimes just like watching how people engage with anime. I'm just like, I've gone into so many meetings and just been like, stop.
Get some help.
Yeah, get some help.
Stop it. Get some help.
No, man, I just like the whole anime space is just so like bleak to me, man. It feels like because there was
Let it off your chest, man. Talk about it.
I mean, bro, there was just like a brief little period from like. I feel
you should
like,
also give context on like what you've done and like where you come out of, like what informs your perspective. I feel like before even.
I mean,
like with Beyond the Bot. And
so I've had now 2 anime YouTube channels, 2 podcasts. One of them that was an offshoot of those 2 channels, and done a podcast for Crunchyroll that called Anime in America. Just outlines the entire history of anime coming to the U.S. And
which is dope, by the way.
Yeah, it's a cool podcast. I would love to do a second season. I think it would be dope to like do like continue it on on 400 million, but like
right,
because it's really interesting to me, and that's the part of it that really interests me. I'm not really super into you have to watch every anime that's ever existed. That's weird to me.
Right.
We were talking yesterday about anime as an identity, like otaku as an identity. Like you make it this is my thing and who I am, and like the distinction between like being someone who likes good anime, like just like you like good films, any other films or any other medium, and someone who's like, oh well, kawaii, whatever.
Right.
The fuck.
Exactly.
Real quick, just side note, like I don't know if you guys have seen the videos of like people doing the ironic, like basically remix of that. It'd be like, oh my god, this is an American store. Oh, look, a hot dog.
I
mean, I've been seeing that for years. Like
that's hilarious.
In certain like Japanese communities, like Japanese folks outside of Japan, they've been joking about this for decades.
That's hysterical to me.
It's so bizarre. It's like I kind of had a chip on my shoulder about being a Toonami kid coming into this space because like everybody has their own experience. Well, yeah,
a little bit.
Well, there's that element, and then there's also like there's a lot of people that just got into anime that have seen everything that's on Netflix. And I cannot be that person, and I cannot I just can't engage with it anymore. There's a couple Netflix anime that I like, but I like when people tell me that those are the ones that like grab them and those are the ones that they really fuck with. I just can't really like I've gone into meetings with people in the industry that are like, yeah, we're trying to figure out our space in the anime shit, and they clearly don't understand it at all or respect it in any type of way. It's a money grab thing, and it's like it's the same thing with hip hop. It's like when you look at the original people that were kind of bringing it over here, and you like being somebody that's relatively young, you kind of look at those people and just like, oh, they're just fucking like old heads or like boomers about it, because they do have a chip on their shoulder about like they straight up subtitled shit themselves.
Wow.
And like, I mean, usually they had one Japanese friend who transcribed shit, but like they really have an attitude about it. Like it's so easy for kids these days and all this shit, which like if you look at it now and the way the space is, like I don't blame the people that are just getting into it, that are watching it, but like the Disneys, the Netflixes, the HBOs that are just getting into this space, and some of them are better about it than others. Hulu is just like, and that's part of Disney, but Hulu just buys licenses to shit that already exists, and they have most of the anime streaming market covered.
What are some animes on Hulu? Because I think of Netflix.
Let's not promote Hulu, Connor.
Yeah, I guess not.
Let's not do that. All right, that's what we're not going to do here.
Well, first of all, Hulu does have live sports.
No,
but
what kind of shows are on
this fall on Hulu? This fall on Hulu. Hulu does have live sports, Connor.
Academia, or whatever the fuck it's called. Did I get the title right? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I really didn't know.
Boku no Hero
Academia.
Boku no Hero Academia. But
what kind of sussy bakas are in this shit?
Oh my god. Sussy Baka is so funny to me. I'm sorry. It's still funny to me. I know it's like in the TikTok universe, it's so played out. But
my god. No, it's still so funny.
Yeah.
Goofy is another
funny thing. Yeah.
Like,
oh my god.
Oh man, he is a goofy
I just found out about like the origin of that. Like it was a white person that was trying to speak AAVE in real life that they saw in text.
Like, thank you for that.
So someone said goofy and they thought it was goofy and then someone's recording, like it's a black person that's recording, they're like, say that again, what did you say? And they're like, goofy what
it's like when Chile,
it's like that girl that
child
girl is
Chile.
Like
Chile. You seen that?
And she's like, she doesn't drop
Chile,
and she doesn't she doesn't drop the black scent the whole time. She's just like, I've been saying chili for years. Just like laughing through fucking
like that
long-ass nails.
That is just goofy is the funniest thing.
That shit is so
I
silly.
wanted to say on the anime thing though.
To answer your question, by the way, Hulu has all the like old anime basically.
Gotcha.
Like all the legacy shit that was on Toonami basically.
Interesting. So like Sailor Moon type shit.
Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Y'all are literally promoting Hulu right now.
Pirated. It's also available.
Pirated.
Yeah, there we go. Pirated. Open access movement.
It's also on Pirate Bay.
Rest in peace, Aaron Swartz. But I was gonna say, like, my whole thing with anime was like, aside from what we just described about like the distinction between, oh well, I like good anime, like my identity isn't anime, and whatever. Yeah. I literally don't. I've never kept up or watched like anime post. I don't even know, like the 2000s. For me, like even like from the films, I've only watched a handful of like series, like OVAs. But all of it is like from what, the 70s to the late 90s or like early 2000s, maybe Ghibli's stuff. And it's funny now. Oh, I know who I was talking to an animator about this. Because there's this whole retro anime wave now. That's what they call it, retro anime. Yeah. In the artist community. But also, you know, people who just enjoy the aesthetic of it and whatever. And I was explaining how 10 years ago, it was like when the times where I did sort of like try and talk with otakus or like otaku communities about like, hey, is anyone kind of just into cell animation or like have a special connection to this thing and that's really it? I would just get shit for it. It was very bizarre. It was like, because these are people that they're like consuming, like it's McDonald's. Like they're just like consuming these like
cell animation being more like Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon type stuff, like cell animation.
Yeah, it's before
like hand-drawn shit. Basically, I mean,
it's before. I mean, there's a mix between the two mediums technically, but it's before everything was on computers.
Yeah,
got it. Okay,
that's the shorthand description.
It's not just a style; it's like literally an analog animation.
Yeah, I have cells. Like I have Damn, I could flex really hard right now.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I'm doing it.
Okay,
Oh,
fuck it.
wow.
Why not?
So,
but I mean,
he's getting some cells.
Yeah, well,
he's gonna come back with an egg. He's like, "This is a cell."
Right. But
he's about to nut on a napkin. He's like, "This is a cell. These are cells."
But what was the question that I was answering?
Well, you were giving us backstory on your context for anime, but then also people using otaku as a lifestyle versus.
This is a cell.
Yeah.
You recognize that gentleman there?
Wow.
Is that Shinji Ikari?
That is. You want to hold it?
Shinji Ikari.
Shinji Ikari.
So tell me about this. It's like what is that show where they auction off stuff? Tell me about this. How old is this? I can give you about.
Yeah, exactly.
So basically, there was Virgin, whose dad makes him go in a robot. They used to do these back in the 90s.
Yeah.
So yeah, a cell is just. I'm doing I'm not an animator, so I'm doing the layman's term shorthand of it all.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a bunch
like
of
a
illustrated
cellulite.
Yeah, it's a bunch
cellulose or cellulite.
It's not cellulite.
Cellulose, I think.
Yeah.
I got yelled at one time for calling it cellulite.
Yeah.
Like I asked the filmmaker, I'm like, "Do you guys shoot on cellulite?" And they were like, "Cellulose."
Do you know what cellulite is?
Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
it's this shit all over my
just,
body.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Just it's late.
But it's layers. So like you'll have like a painted background,
right?
And then you'll also have sketches underneath it too that are like outlines, and then you put like the cellulose that's painted over and basically over all of that. So it's like all of these hand drawn illustrated layers that make up a frame.
Mm-hmm.
And the animation is just you're cutting from frame to frame to frame to frame, and they use these.
Right.
Is that like a real one from the show?
Yes, Connor.
I didn't know. Jesus,
yeah, you're holding something from Evangelion.
That's a frame
right
of Evangelion.
Yes.
Wow.
It's a frame
That's
of animation history right here.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the thing that's crazy is, I got this in Tokyo many years ago.
Yeah. What was it?
Before
auctioned or
no? I got it in a fucking.
a
I don't even know
store?
where to fucking put this now.
I can set it right here.
Yeah. I got it in a shop for had to have been, it was definitely less than $100. It was like $60-$50.
How the fuck are
something
these
like
just
that
hanging around?
Well, now it's different. Now something like that probably goes for thousands of dollars.
You know what? I'll let you finish. First,
yeah. I was just gonna say it's to the retro anime thing, and now to your point about people getting into anime and like especially younger people, they're getting into the legacy, the old school stuff.
Yeah.
They're learning about the history and like how fucking important that shit is. So it's just kind of now everything is getting marked up when it comes, just like Pokemon cards or whatever. Now it was basically trash at a certain point in Japan. It's almost like
there was a point.
Oh yeah, well it's done. Throw it out.
There was two stories that I really love from the podcast, but like first of all, like manga used to be cheaper than toilet paper. Like people,
you've said that before. Yeah, that's crazy.
People would read a manga. That's how most people got their manga. Is like you would read it and then just like throw it away on the train, just like leave it on the subway seat. So that's how a lot of people.
So cheap.
Yeah, and like after Akira was made, I don't know why I'm insisting on pronouncing it right now. I've always called it Akira.
Is that how it's pronounced?
Yeah.
Akira.
Yeah, but after it was produced, it was
that like changed the game.
Well, it did change the game. But it was so this dude Jerry Beck is the guy who localized it to the U.S. He was with Streamline Pictures was the name of the company.
Oh, that's crazy too. Wow.
Yeah, he founded Streamline Pictures. Oh, you got a fucking Majin Buu?
Yeah.
Again, you never showed me that. You know, I love that.
Oh damn! I don't know. It's literally in like my closet.
Yeah,
because I never found a place to get you.
I was like wearing the hat too.
Yeah, no, that's
we need to get you space to hang these up sometime.
Yeah, but
that's amazing.
Not to interrupt,
but yeah. So Jerry Beck localized Akira for the U.S. and It was when they still thought basically anime was, or cartoons were for kids. And so
you want to, I figured you want to look at it.
No, I
want some
to
time with it. Maybe not now,
for posterity. This is so fucking dope.
And it is like, I was explaining to this animator that I was talking to. I'll probably be talking about him more in the future on here. But we were just talking about the magic of it. Like, it doesn't go away. Like, even when I hold that and I look at that, I'm like, this feels like magic to me. And I was explaining, like, as a composer, I feel that way about music.
Yeah.
You know, like, there was a part of me that thought the deeper I go into studying orchestration or arranging or music theory, the magic is going to be lost.
Dilute.
But that's not what happens. You just get this deeper and richer appreciation.
Just greater
for the giants whose shoulders you stand on. You're just like, holy shit, you know? Right. And he was explaining that from like a cell animation standpoint. Yeah. And he does things digitally, but he can animate emulating cell animation digitally. He's like one of the few people out here who can do that like properly.
So you're talking about Akira?
Yeah. So after it was localized, this was like the start of Streamline Pictures, and they like basically like set the stage for the wave of localization that came and led up to like Toonami and all that stuff. It was before the big Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, Pokemon wave.
That was kind of like, that movie was like the first big like, look, this shit can also be popular over here type shit.
Yeah. That was the first like, this can be popular and it can be for adults.
Right.
Like,
I mean, it is very much for adults.
Yeah. And
you mind handing me that, by the way? Yeah, I'll just put it.
But once it was
I'm gonna do this one too.
After the premiere, it kind of didn't take off right away.
Right.
And so, but dude is like proud of his work, obviously. And so he just like called up the studio and was like, hey, could I get a cell or two just to frame up in it? Like, we just got a new office. Could I just get a cell to frame just as a commemorative thing? And without batting an eye, they're like, oh yeah, we'll send a ship over in a few days.
Wow.
And he's like, what do you mean a ship? They sent a whole fucking cargo ship of Akira cells to the California office where it was localized because they thought it was going to be worth nothing.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
And are like, because my confusion are those cells ever duplicated, like backed up? Like,
no,
not at all. It's just like, this is this frame.
Well, it's like the most you get is like they're hand duplicated, so there might be a lot that look similar, but like none of them.
That's
all
fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And Akira,
it is.
I was just gonna mention the frame rate of the animation is higher than normal. It's like, it's not 12 frames a second of animation. It's like 30 or some shit.
Yeah,
it's
crazy. And it's some of the craziest hand-drawn stuff you like.
Right, the backgrounds.
Well, not even just the backgrounds, but the way they like.
This is the point. Exact
the way
point.
They
I was
trace
make.
like light, like the scene, the little when the motorcycles are moving and you see the light tracers behind it.
Yeah, huge.
That's hand-drawn, and the way the streets move. It's so
that's
like,
even the backgrounds. Every one of the backgrounds. I'm like, this is art.
Yeah.
That's my whole thing with like animation and like Japanese animation in particular, and like why, because you know there's like this, you encounter these people that they'll be into other visual mediums or forms, and then when you get on animation, they're like, that's cute.
Right.
That's like some kiddie shit. That's cute.
Yeah.
And that's always been my whole thing. I'm like, do you realize human hands frame by frame did this?
Right.
And you can't even look at that and just be in awe of that.
Right.
A moving painting. It's a moving painting.
Right. It's wild because like
one frame is like, that's like, holy shit, that's one frame.
Right.
And these motherfuckers, humans, organized to fucking make a whole movie of the shit.
Right. And we act like the most detailed work you can possibly do artistically is just reserved for children. Like no, like it's not worthy of anybody else. It's insane. Ridiculous. It's insane.
No, I think like one of Wes Anderson's favorite movies is End of Evangelion.
Yeah.
Like a lot of filmmakers,
I mean, bro,
the real cinephiles respect.
Yeah, that's one of my faves.
I mean,
the amount of live action stuff that's based directly ripped from anime. Black Swan is Perfect Blue. Inception is Paprika. That's why I was joking about.
the
Brendan Fraser movie.
The Matrix was inspired by Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah,
hugely.
Yeah.
I mean,
Kokaku Kirotai. That's the name in Japanese. Sorry. I got used to calling it Kokaku Kirotai instead of Ghost in the Shell for some time. So I just wanted an excuse to say it.
That's sick, dude. We should call it Kokaku. We should call it
Kakariko Village. Yeah.
I mean, y'all were saying Akira, so I'm like, might as well.
Get your shit on. Let's do it.
Yeah, flex on them.
Man,
that shit is.
What's Princess Mononoke in Japanese? Do you know that?
Mononoke Hime. Yeah.
That's another movie where
I actually have a funny video I could pull up.
Yeah.
That's another movie that's like animated, I feel like, at a higher than normal frame rate. Those Studio Ghibli films.
I don't actually know, but
like I don't know either, but
really
I just remember when we saw, because I just saw it for the first time when we saw it at IFC.
I'm not gonna pull it up.
I remember seeing it, and just the first scene where the fucking leech demon pig comes out. I was like, this ain't Nickelodeon.
Right.
This ain't.
When I saw that arm fly off with that arrow, I knew I was in for something.
Two arms.
Now they worked hard on this one.
I mean, bro, like I
took his head clean off with an arrow.
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. Like
that's sick.
That's one of my main things.
I remember him saying that while we were. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if it was after or during, but you were just like, man. Was fucking hard,
dude. That was
the violence because I wasn't
I wasn't expecting it to be that hardcore.
Yeah,
but it's like it was like this wholesome gore. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
it's just real gore. Life is gory.
That's by far his most violent movie too.
Like,
at least
Birth,
it was PG-13.
Birth is gory. It's not horror gore. It's just like real gore.
Yeah,
it's
right.
Yeah, Mononoke Hime is my favorite film of all time, and that's kind of relevant to this conversation, or what I was saying about like, because sometimes you say like, you say an animated film is your favorite film of all time, or it's like your favorite movie, and then they're like, oh, in terms of animation, and you're like, no, all time, all time, and
when I was in Toronto this past weekend, I was wearing that Ghost in the Shell shirt. As I was walking into the hotel, somebody walked out and walked past me, and he turned back to be like, "Oh man, great cartoon." I was like, "Oh, fuck you."
He's like that and Ren and Stimpy. Top two.
I'm personally a SpongeBob guy.
Yeah,
love SpongeBob.
I love me some Ghosts in the Shell.
Love SpongeBob. Love him.
Great guy.
Who can remember when she's invisible? He can't see her. She's running around in the puddle. Where is she? Where'd she go? She's naked.
I gotta tell you, my personal favorite was Bato. He was a fighter. He really fought. Tale of the Princess Kaguya, based on a Japanese folktale. She turns into the moon. But I don't know, man. I do get really upset about that shit, man. It's like
the whole lifestyle or the cartoon shit.
I think it all kind of intertwines in the sense that people kind of infantilize it in a lot of ways, where they really make they kind of diminish you by like acknowledging that you're a fan of it, and they're just like, oh, it's just like, oh, you like anime,
you're
like
one
that?
of those.
You're one of those, and like what? Also assume that you watch hentai.
Yes, that's also a thing. People think it's like, I'm joking when I say because they know I'm into. They say, oh, Princess Mononoke, and then hentai is the connection for them.
Yeah,
but they think I'm joking when I'm like, I've literally never watched hentai. I've never like sought it out. No judgment, by the way, to anyone who's into that or whatever. But there's
been so much real porn out there. I haven't run out.
Yeah, exactly.
And that always seems to be the verisimilitude for my dick is less.
Right.
You know, like
but
not to be crass.
the point I was building, like people kind of diminish the artistic value of it, and even the people like film critics, like professional or like semi-professional film critics who discuss or review anime, they kind of tend to do this shit where they don't know how to really interrogate foreign work, and they don't know how to interrogate like a medium that's still kind of not well understood in the US because we kind of skipped right past the artistic value into how do we reproduce it. And so a lot of people just look at anime and they're just like, this is beautiful, 10 star or 5 stars, 10 out of 10.
Right.
And they'll even write a long review that's kind of critical at certain points and still be like 10 out of 10.
Right.
Perfect movie.
They don't have context.
They don't have context, and they have this fear. It's white critics. They have this fear of like being perceived as racist or xenophobic or whatever the fuck, to the point where they won't even give credence to the work to like really examine it,
right?
In a way, and it has this weird double quality to it where they won't examine it fully, but then on the studio like creative side, still have no qualms about like, yeah, we're in production for a live action anime. We got the rights to it. Like it's so
like
weird.
It's all the same.
Yeah, it's like
the live action anime. It's like has there been a good one?
I go into meetings with studios and I tell them stop. Every time every meeting I've been in,
to stop this.
Every meeting I've been in where they tell me they're working on a live action anime, I'm like, why are you doing that?
My whole thing for years has been saying, you should, if you're gonna branch out, just do like CGI, like really interesting CGI. I'm not saying that that's necessary, but what was that thing that what movie did we see? And
Demon Slayer was
no.
You always bring this up. Jujutsu Kaisen.
No, it was like Gantz or something.
Gantz.
Like that.
Oh yeah,
the one you always
insane,
bring that up.
highly. It's a shitty ass film narratively. The writing is horrible, but from a like animation standpoint, some of the most mind blowing shit you'll ever see in that film.
Bro,
highly recommend.
Dog, like some of the newer anime that like.
I was saying on Dragon Ball Z though. I was like, imagine a Gantz style Dragon Ball Z film. That would go crazy if written. You know, it was good writing and like
the most recent Dragon Ball movie, the Broly movie, was all hand drawn for the most part, and I thought that was so dope.
The Dragon Ball Z Super version. Of that?
Yeah.
I've seen that. I was coming down off acid watching that.
Yeah. Why? But they like
very aggressive film.
It was like a 45-minute fight sequence. Some of this, but some of the scenes do cut away because they put it out before it was really finished. Some of the scenes do cut away to what feels like video game footage. But like some of the other like Demon Slayer, they do all 3D landscapes and really give you that like full like visual picture, and it's one of the most beautiful anime I've ever seen. Episode 19 of season 1, I still remember, is one of the most like.
Dude, I just watched the first episode of that. Like Tony, one of my best friends, actually like my oldest friend, Tony, I got him into My Hero Academia and he watched 30 hours of it in like 2 weeks.
Cop show.
He loved it. And like we're gonna finish like the last 4 episodes together, but then he watched all of Demon Slayer like very quickly, and now he's like 4 seasons into Attack on Titan, so he's literally he's been putting shit off, like not been getting shit done because he just found out what anime is and now he's just into it.
Right.
And
that's so funny.
Demon Slayer, definitely I can just tell from the first episode, is really fire. I've also heard it's just a phenomenon overseas.
Oh yeah, it's
huge.
The Demon Slayer movie is the highest grossing anime of all time. I think it was
I
think it's the first one to unseat Spirited Away.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
Never knew that.
Yeah.
Oh shit. I didn't even know the story was that level good. Like,
I mean, it's just like an emotional show. It's like it's one of the first
like there's a catharsis to the character development, and like the battles have a lot of emotion behind it.
And it's one of the first, probably the first shonen I've ever seen that like implicitly or really explicitly kind of interrogates masculinity.
Right.
Like the main character is really like Tanjiro. He's really just like emotional. He cries a lot, not in the way Deku cries in My Hero, but like it really feels like it's.
See, y'all are losing me now.
I'm sorry.
I'm in out of. I'm in out of my. I don't know about none of this shit.
Damn, she doesn't know about something.
Wow.
Let's keep talking about it.
Wow.
This motherfucker,
I've
shut
never
up.
felt
I'll
that
just
way.
let y'all know. I'm just gonna be back here, just, like, just
Damn.
staring at the moss on the wall.
Yeah, I've never
Anyways,
felt that way.
Let's dig into My Hero.
But no, it's just like it like really interrogates masculinity. Like the main character, like his whole family dies, and he's just like, it's just him and his sister left.
Right.
And
it seems like who's the other guy that he meets who tries to kill his sister in the first episode? What's that guy's name?
I don't remember his name,
but like he's more like
the
the mask archetype. He's like aggressive and you gotta be strong.
Oh, that character you're thinking of is Inosuke, who's like.
Did you say The Mask? Oh,
yeah.
For some reason, somebody,
some motion.
Stop it!
There's demons.
Okay.
No, I forget, but he's the guy.
The one with the boar head mask. That dude.
No. No.
Because that's the character I'm thinking of when he has like a boar mask. He's like a ripped, never wears a shirt. But when he takes the boar mask off, he just has like a effeminate face, like striking blue eyes and all that shit.
That's funny.
It's just like, oh, he's just hiding the fact that he's beautiful.
Yeah,
you know.
I was gonna say the deeper y'all get into this, I'm just gonna feel more like a boomer. Like I hear just, The Mask. I love Jim Carrey. Beautiful,
Right.
Beautiful movie.
I had no
My
intention
name
of-
is Cuban Pete, right?
I had no intention of getting in deep on this.
He said, "My name is Cuban Pete." Right?
I'm the what did you say? The samba beat, Ramba beat.
Why did
My
you
name-
remember that?
Right. I haven't seen that movie in so long.
Dude,
My name is Cuban
Cuban
Pete,
Pete.
right?
folks. Y'all know I'm Cuban Pete.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I wanted to zoom out a little bit on the conversation though.
Yeah, please.
To
do.
say like, I feel like I get people, you know, for a lot of different reasons can be like, oh, you watch anime, and then kind of be like, oh, that's weird or whatever. And I feel like some of it definitely can come down to like when it comes to like identity, you know, like talking about like the weeaboo thing and like
right.
extending beyond the otaku thing. Like I'm into Japanese animation, like getting into, you know, talking about people who end up stereotyping Japanese people or East Asian people in general,
right,
and thinking that they just like it's like another form of Orientalism that gets wrapped up in it and with it. And so if you are of, you know, a particular identity, you can kind of see that and kind of be like, let me kind of stay clear of that, because that might mean they think all this other dumbass shit and I don't want to deal with it, you know?
Right. Yeah, there absolutely is that element. And like, thankfully in the spaces I've been in, I don't really get that impression.
It's also like the space has developed and grown and changed even just so much in the last 10 years. So I'd imagine there's more awareness
now. If
and
we can believe it, it's even more popular than it's been.
Yeah, and with the like flood of casual fans that aren't super deep like that, they just watch it like it's TV. I think that like fetishism and Orientalism has kind of subsided. It's still there on the fringes, but like it's not as in your face. Like you don't go to a convention and everybody's just like, I don't know, doing.
Yeah, I think to that point of like, because the space has grown so much in the last 10 years, like I don't even know what to call the space. I don't know what that is. Yeah. But otaku space, I have no idea. But like, because it's grown, there's more of a consensus around these ideas, I would imagine, of like, yeah, no, that's whack, or you're ignorant, and like,
Yeah, it's one of those,
but it's still there 100%.
It absolutely is.
There's still this like,
yeah,
ooh, you know, like this.
Yeah, but you know what? To be fair, I feel like that's more from like outsiders looking in.
Yeah,
because
like
when I go to like
some boomer shit or just like some out of touch lame shit.
I don't know, man.
Well,
I feel like there's
both.
out there.
You
There's
think
probably
there's cool people that are like
no.
anime?
I think
like,
there are 100% thousands of 4chaners out there
Absolutely.
who they're white supremacists and they love fucking what's his goddamn name? I'm not gonna remember his name.
Oh,
Mishima. Mishima. They love Mishima, you know, and they have body pillows in their crib, and
which is absolutely a thing.
Yeah,
but it's like,
it's because it's so popular now. It's like these are the normie, you know, anime fans, and these are the hardcore, but they are not
chill.
I don't even know what I'm saying.
But you know what? Like,
yeah, they're chill. Exactly. They're like balanced.
I'm saying some of them are hardcore, but they're not chill, like the Mishima people. Is that what you're trying to say? Like, there's people that are more like, because there does seem to be an overlap between like the anime pillow, Nazi, anime fan, weird niche out there, 4chan thing.
And let me see, to give it historical context, like the reason anime didn't initially take off, aside from like post World War II when it was like people didn't fuck with Japanese stuff, but like when they started trying to localize it and be like open about the fact that this is Japanese, most people still kind of treated it with this like sort of outsider perspective, where like Sci-Fi had an anime block where they would be like, at 9 o'clock, let's turn to the east to this mysterious
no, not
Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah, Sci-Fi Channel is where Sailor Moon was before Toonami. And Lord. People know Toonami for as what launched Sailor Moon because nobody fucking watched Sci-Fi.
And weren't they both owned by Turner, right? Sci-Fi.
No.
Is that where they got the rights or whatever? Like,
no, it was So
like I thought maybe there was a bridge there.
So Cartoon Network was owned by
Viacom or Turner.
Turner. It was Turner. Yeah. That's why the original Toonami block was like Hercules and Thundercats and shit. Yeah, they were just using
Thundercats. Did you watch Thundercats? No. Damn. See the boomer.
Right.
The boomer shit. Yeah, we're a few years older than Connor too, so it's like we get to see where the real line is.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
Well, that's kind of like up there with He-Man. Kind of. Were you guys He-Man fans?
I wasn't a He-Man fan.
Really
I feel like those are same animation style.
Probably, yeah. Same style for sure.
I have
but
really early memories of He-Man being on the television when I was being like babysat.
Yeah,
by my grandmother.
Yeah, no, I would watch. I watched Thundercats for sure.
What's the premise? Is it kind of like a Voltron thing? Like they all come together and make some big.
So you got a little bit of thunder over here, and then over here you got some cats.
Yeah,
and you mash them all together, and you got some Thundercats, and they're traveling through space, and they're fighting.
Typically, cats don't like thunder.
Let me tell you,
very spooky. The cats,
yes,
very spooky.
Not the Jason Derulo cats, different kind.
I couldn't tell you though. I just remember the main characters were all different kinds of like.
Yeah, I remember
there was one ginger cat with the big mane, right?
Yeah,
I remember him.
That was
Panthero one.
Lionel was the main. Was that guy? Panthero was my favorite.
Were they just?
He was black.
Yeah,
black.
He was black.
Were they just punching, or they have swords?
They had like
guns.
Swords. Oh, dog, that reminds me of one of my favorite videos. Was like,
we are totally. This is so old.
No,
we are skipping over multiple generations of listeners right now.
This is Jamie Fall. We have time.
We have time. So, one of my favorite videos online was like a Jamaican dude redoing the Thundercats theme song. It was
full blown instrumental or just the voice
like, just
over.
The vocals.
Wait a second.
And the video is called Thundercats.
Cats.
Speaking of which, do you guys know? Have we talked about Rasta Mouse? Have I told you about that? Just speaking of Jamaican.
No.
Did you know that accent has ties to Ireland? By the way, it's Irish.
Oh, I did know that
crossover. Did you know that?
That's why I love weed. That makes so much sense.
You know what? I was just
work on that accent. Yeah, work on that accent.
Yeah. I'm gonna
don't do that.
Chet
Don't
Hanks
Chet.
it
I
up.
was gonna say don't Chet Hanks. It up.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I was watching a video of a girl like a Jamaican girl talking to her mom the other day. I was just like, why do you sound European?
Right.
Like it sounded, it was leaning way more
that
way.
I love how you said work on that accent. Like I've been working. I just need to refine
Like
it.
you've been doing it in
Gotta trim the fat, baby.
Yeah, you gotta really hone in, man.
Yeah.
That's
You ever seen that clip of Brad Pitt? I would pull it up,
yeah,
but we would get copyright claimed in a hot second. He's like,
everything gonna be all right.
everything irie.
Oh, I got that movie for Easter one year.
Everything gonna be irie. You got that for Easter.
Yeah,
in the basket.
Meet Joe Black. I think my mom was just
what is it called?
I think it's Meet Joe Black, isn't it?
Oh, is it Meet Joe Black?
Yeah.
What?
Because he's like a ghost.
Easter.
Yeah.
Merch. Wait. Merch alert. Hold on. Hear me out. Yo, if you're a graphic designer, we need a t-shirt of an Easter basket with Meet Joe Black sitting in that motherfucker. That's what we need.
Just with everything going to be all right.
Everything gonna be, no, it says that on the back.
cursive,
Everything gonna be
in
all
cursive.
right. Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
my
because he's like a
God.
ghost and he like connects with people
Yeah.
and makes them comfortable.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that clip is hilarious. The part where he
Easter.
dies, where he
Bro.
gets hit by the
Easter.
car 3 times.
Oh,
Remember that?
yeah.
Connor, we can't move away from this Easter basket.
Well,
Who put the movie in the Easter basket?
the Easter Bunny, obviously.
Which one was it? Your dad who was like,
No,
Con's
my dad.
gonna love this.
No. I think my mom.
How
this
old
is
were you,
definitely what
10?
happened. No, probably like 13, something like that. I don't know. My mom, in her, the goodness of her heart, probably was just like, I've seen this movie. It's a good movie. Connor's into movies. I'll just put this in the Easter basket. I think it was either Easter or Christmas, but I'll just say it was Easter. Because usually Easter, we got a DVD. That was like a thing. We would get a DVD. I remember I got The Incredibles on DVD for Easter one year.
Great
Great
soundtrack.
gift.
Great
Great
soundtrack.
gift with all the special features and everything. But yeah, I think Meet Joe Black. And I was like, what is this movie? I had like never heard of it. It was like Brad Pitt in some random movie.
That had to have been years before you were getting that as a gift too, like over a decade or something, right? What year did that come out?
Oh yeah, it was like a late 90s Brad Pitt movie, if not like, I don't think that movie is any older than like 2001.
1998.
Yeah. Old Brad Pitt.
So it's like getting that as an Easter basket gift is just so bizarre to me.
It's definitely like a random ass movie my mom probably saw and liked. My mom will go see movies like very sporadically, and then like a random one. I remember I saw Holes with my mom in theaters, and it was the day after
my respect because I'm the new man. Got a shovel, shoes full of sand.
Dig it dig it. Dig it There's yellow spotted lizards all over here.
Y'all talking about holes?
Yeah.
Oh, we talking about
What
holes.
is
I'm tired of this, Grandpa. Let's do down bad.
Is that what he says?
I can fix that.
Is that what he says? Oh, that's too damn bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
do damn bad.
Yeah.
I met Dule Hill one time.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
On a plane,
On
right?
a plane, yeah.
I can fix that.
Yeah, I pissed myself on a plane next to Dule Hill.
Oh yeah, I remember.
He
this.
said, "I can smell that.
Yeah.
I can smell that.
I could lick that.
I can smell that. You peed on yourself."
Yeah. I posted a video of me telling that story on stage, and somebody tagged Cleo Thomas, the dude who played Zero.
Hector Zeroni.
Hector Zeroni. Yeah.
And then you take Madame Zeroni up the mountain.
If only the woodpecker size.
Yeah.
The bark on the tree
thickness
was
of
as
his dick
soft
was
as
the same as his
sky.
thighs, or something like that.
Did you just make that up?
Yeah. As the wolf sits below, thirsty and lonely, howling to the moon.
What was the shit they came up with? It was like gloop. It was like gloop, and it like made your feet stop smelling.
Yeah.
They came up with like Axe body spray.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. the onions or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out, what's the Fonz?
I know.
Henry Winkler?
Henry Winkler.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Great work on Barry. Great work.
Oh, I need to watch that show. We can't say what streaming platform it's on, but it's a good show.
Listen, we have exclusivity clauses.
Not
here.
without a couple of Bill Hader bucks.
You call me a Bill Hater because fuck you. No.
Fuck all Bills.
Yeah, no, Bill Hader's really funny.
Yeah.
That's my Bill Hader.
He did the best Charlie Rose impression.
Oh,
he's
so
killed Charlie Rose.
funny.
Yeah. Welcome to the show.
Actually,
It's Charlie Rose.
It's
Charlie Rose
he
show.
does it hella stylized too,
Yeah.
and it's like makes it so
It's-
much funnier.
Yeah.
He rules, and he's like another
actually
example
so
of
dope.
like it makes sense why like anyone in older than 25 like is still kind of holding on to SNL as
Yeah, of
it
course.
could be
Yeah.
funny
Yeah,
because
of
it's like
course.
right.
You
listen,
had Bill Hader,
Right.
You had Bill
Armisen,
yeah.
Hader,
Yeah.
fucking Kristen
Kristen
Wiig,
Wiig,
fucking
Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
We were young, but we still saw Will
Yeah.
Ferrell.
Mhm.
God, Andy Samberg, even the Lonely Island.
I was
mean,
gonna say
yeah.
Hader's inspiring for me personally, just at a creative performance level, because he has struggles with anxiety,
yes,
Right.
and
hugely
to
so.
hear him talk about how every single recording he was on the verge of like a panic attack, if not having panic attacks,
Yeah, he's
and
the
he
goat
just
for that.
and he just thugged it out
Right.
Yeah.
through the whole
And you could not tell. He's
Yeah,
such
you
a
couldn't
confident
tell.
performer.
yeah,
Right.
but he was like sick to his stomach every single time.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just mind blowing.
And he's had
to
it.
think about.
I remember seeing an interview where he talked about it, and he's like, I used to be afraid to go on the school bus. I'm like, damn, you
Wow.
were you
Yeah.
were heavy in the sauce. Early.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, no,
But he's just so
he's-
talented.
he's funny as a performer. He's a good writer. Like he wrote for South Park and
Yeah.
I mean SNL obviously, and
And he writes
a million
Barry.
different movies. Barry, he directs Barry. He's a talented director. He's
Right.
a cinephile.
Cinephile, great act. That's as great a performer as he is on SNL. Like that show is just so deep, performance wise. And I'm
Yeah,
just
no.
like, it's like
For him to sell himself as a hitman too.
Well, there's that, but
Yeah.
then there's
I don't
also,
think he had a discomfort with that a little bit too. I think I remember seeing him talk about it in an interview. I could be wrong, but
Yeah.
I don't watch Barry. I've never watched it, but whenever he does, press runs, I'm watching
Right.
his
Yeah.
interviews.
Yeah, that's like that's if I have a meeting and they ask me like, is there a show you want to write for or anything? I always say Barry.
Mhm.
Yeah, because it's so like as far as his performance goes and just the premise, it's on like Perfect Blue level of like depth, where it's like where does the performance stop and real life begin? It's like that type of shit. where
Speaking of
It's
that,
really
can we talk about the rehearsal? I don't know if you've seen.
I have not seen it.
Yes,
Holy shit!
we've been laughing
So-
our asses
so-
off in the Discord.
So
I have
next
not seen
it.
next
TC.
episode, you'll get caught up on the rehearsal. I'm sure there'll be like 2 or 3 episodes out between this recording and our next recording.
and it's short. The episodes are short. The second one
The,
is short.
the second one's short. It queues up a third episode that's probably going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've watched Nathan Fielder's,
Yeah, of
like
course.
Nathan for You.
Of course.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
guy's a genius.
Yeah, he's a
man.
genius.
He's a
True
genius.
sense of the word.
I
went to-
kind of hate
I
that.
went to
He's such a
business
yeah,
school in
he's- yeah.
Canada,
It's
and
annoying.
I
You gotta tell the
graduated with really
absolutely-
good grades.
You got to tell the absolutely story with him.
Oh yeah, no, I will. But just to set the table, like this show, like I just want to say, like, you cannot tell how evil he is in real life. Like you really
Yeah.
can't. That's the fucked up part. Is like
Yeah,
he's so
right.
committed to it. It's like a more controlled Kaufman. Like it's like
Yeah.
but it's like
right.
it's like a
Scientific.
mumblecore awkward version of Andy Kaufman.
It's also scientific. It's very like
Yeah, he's
calculated. Everything is much
Yeah.
It's
to a granular level.
He reminds me
right.
of like a Tim Rogers, like a video game reviewer who will play a game for 300 hours to review it.
Yeah.
Like an inordinate amount of work going towards something that it's like you just are built different if you care that much for the bit to do this thing.
Yeah.
And Rehearsal is very much that. I won't spoil anything about it, but just like so I worked at Absolutely in 2016. I helped transcribe the 4th season of Nathan For You.
Yeah.
I have no idea where I stand NDA wise. I think I'm straight. I did not get paid for anything I did. Not a single cent for anything I did. So I don't really
that's
fucking
worth
care.
mentioning.
Yeah, it was a unpaid internship, and you know, you get paid in clout for that, and I was like giddy to do it, you know. But I did like, I got that fuck it gene in me where I'm like, I'm gonna leave early. I'm not gonna try that hard, even though it would be good for me to like be a go-getter here. I really don't fucking care because I'm not getting paid. I'm not gonna work here. I'm probably not gonna live in LA, so fuck it. So like everyone could tell I was not invested. I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't like social climb or anything. The two things I can say though, one, I did do voiceover for a Comedy Bang Bang like bonus feature deleted scene thing that was funny. And this is like every Abso intern like gets to be like, oh, I got my ass spanked on Eric Andre's show or something like that. It's always like some you can take this home with you sort of thing. And you can tell that back at the family in Idaho that you did that. And it's a little cloud token, literally a cloud token. And then like there was some Eric Andre thing where the editor needed like 8 people to say one thing at once, and I was in the room for that. But so I've watched like literally dozens of hours of uncut Nathan For You footage, and he will make people he'll ask questions 8 different ways. He'll make people repeat what they say. He'll obviously, like for Nathan For You, he'll lead them to saying something, and he'll ask them to phrase how they're saying. I mean, it's like very, very, very.
He does
produced.
it like a psychologist, though.
Like, and by the way, like, he's brilliant in the show and everything, but he's breaking character constantly. He's like. Laughing all the time. He's laughing all the time in the uncut footage.
Oh, you're saying in the
uncut footage? I'm saying it's like he'll someone will say something, he'll be like, he'll break character, and he'll be like, oh, we could do that better. Like he's Kubrickian in his we're gonna do this 7 times. Right. And it was so funny because you would like see him showing cuts to editors, and he'd be like watching how everyone like reacts to it. Like you could just tell he was really like, I know it's good, isn't it good? And you know, he's a master at what he does. But it was just funny. Like he does like. He's like a master manipulator in a comedic way. But you wonder, okay, where does this stray into reality? And he's got this awareness, but you're like, it's just the most meta modernist sort of fucking thing. Like it's so crazy. But the funniest thing is that before I started that internship, I was in LA for that summer. I saw him once at a taco truck. Randomly, just ran into him. He was on a date with a girl at a taco truck. It was like, oh fuck, that's Nathan Fielder right there, like 10 feet away. And then another time I was at a Mac DeMarco show, and he just was on stage pretending to play guitar, like as a bit. He was just like emotionless, just on stage. Right. And then when I actually got the internship, you know, I would just see him walking around the office all the time. But so Abso has this birthday celebration ritual where basically they'll just take a birthday cake and they'll light candles and they'll just bring it into a central location of the office. This is the one in Glendale is like, or wherever it is like, it's wide open, you know, so everyone's just in wide open space desks.
Hey, Tim, by the way. And hey, I know Tim and Doug and other people. Hello.
Oh yeah, it's true.
Fuck it, we'll do it live. Fuck it.
Fuck it. I don't care. I don't care if I'm spoiling your birthday celebration. I'm sorry. But you know, so fucking bring the cake into a central location, and they just go get the intern or whoever's birthday it is, and they bring them to the cake, and then they just start an applause that has no ending. It's like the bit is to keep the applause going for as long as they can, and people will get up out of their desk, come out of their office, and start clapping and start walking towards you clapping. And like the whole office will start clapping. It's almost like the end of the TV series Evangelion, where they're all just clapping for Shinji. It's like that, and it's just like interminable. And it was hilarious because if it's not your birthday, you do it, and you're like enjoying the fuck out of how awkward it is. But yeah, Nathan was like 10 feet away from me, just like
Yeah.
clapping when it was my birthday.
Wow.
And it was very bizarre.
That's one of my favorite stories, period.
That's
though.
so
It's hilarious.
I love it.
He's so funny to me, man. I remember when when he was doing the dumb Starbucks thing, and it was before the show.
You're saying in LA.
Yeah. And before anybody knew about the show, it was like it was in the news and shit.
Yeah.
And he was going on late night and doing interviews and all this stuff. And I remember I saw 2 different interviews on 2 different late night shows where they asked, like, Starbucks had put out a cease and desist because he had, like, straight up had a store called Dumb Starbucks. They're like, you can't use our logo and all that, obviously. And he said the funniest shit where he I don't even remember how they set it up, but he was basically like, yeah, we'll sue you or something like that. And he's like, I mean, I really hope it doesn't have to go that way. I think, like, you guys are really risking losing a very valuable customer.
The legal part of his show is what's always intrigued me more than anything else. How are you getting away with this legally?
Well,
and that's what I love about him probably the most too is the pushing the limits bit. I mean, as a fellow neurotic person, I obviously love that. It's also why I love Tim Robinson because so much of his humor is just about how neurotic he is and obsessive he is. But just from a process standpoint, a logistical standpoint, I'm like, how is he getting this done? He knows the outcome he wants.
With this.
Yeah, he knows the outcome he wants, and he keeps getting it. So it's like, how are you doing that? It's pushing the limit.
Extreme, It's extreme neuroses. It's like extremely anal. He's extremely anal.
Right. I feel like he probably, like, sits in with the legal team, like, personally.
Oh no, of course. He talked about that in one of the seasons.
It like literally blurs. Yeah, like part of the story is like, I will talk about it next time more in depth.
Talking about the rehearsal.
Part of the story is like what he's allowed to do and what he's not at times.
Like it feels like a show where the legal team is just in the writer's room.
Yeah,
like they are part of it.
They're on the set. They're everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, it's just hilarious. And when I watched the first episode, that was like one of the better movies I've seen recently. Like if that was like a short film, like I was like, wow, that was amazing. There were several times, there's a part in the beginning where.
I said the similar thing as soon as it was wrapped. I was like, that was literally an experience.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was like, I'll remember that. Like the first scene when the guy says wow and then the actor says wow, I got up out of my chair.
Same.
I several times got up out of my seat and was just
I was literally leaning like, no.
Yeah.
I saw, I was like, no, there's no way this happened. There's no way.
Right.
He's like, yeah. So
it's literally that thing of there's no way you got that. There's no way you got that. There's no way it just played into your desires. That
I just want to do a highlight where y'all keep talking cryptically about this and I just stare in the camera and they do the sad Ben Affleck zoom, just like
it's just the Joker music just
the one Nathan Fielder line that's in my daily usage is what that means. Do y'all remember that? The real heads will know, but it's the one where he has that kid speak, like he repeats what a kid is saying for a job interview. He has a kid in a bus watching him do a job interview, and the kid is responding to the interviewer, and he repeats what the kid says.
Yeah.
So the kid goes, "What that means?" And he goes, "What that means?" And the person is just staring at him like, okay.
The one I remember doing
just genius. Yeah. He really flexed with that show, like comedically. Like what is the wackiest thing?
Well, it's such, you have to give him credit because it's like, we live in an age that's so oversaturated with like, you'll never believe how people react to this.
Yeah.
And it's like, he really shows you that he's kind of the master at that.
Yeah,
he's the master at using people as his
Oh, that one
humor.
where he takes the people through the haunted house and they like paramedics come in and just like, yeah, we found a very contagious element in the haunted house. They like take them to the in an ambulance, take them to the hospital and all this shit. They go through all these tests and then they come out and it's like end of haunted house.
That's and then he's always just like, so what did you think?
Yeah.
It's like it was a little too scary.
I love how he lets people say things and he goes, what does that mean?
Like, could you explain that?
Yeah, what do you mean? Yeah. Like it just he's so good at that. It's unreal.
God. Yeah.
I remember one episode I worked on. I don't know if it ever came out. Probably did, but it was one where it was like asexual laptop repair store. So it's like the person going through your hard drive has no sexual urges at all.
That one did come out.
Yeah, it did come out. Yeah.
Just like, I mean, come on. Like who thinks that shit?
Yeah.
So yeah, check out the rehearsal. We'll definitely keep you posted on.
Yeah, torrent the rehearsal.
Yeah, torrent the rehearsal.
We're also talking about it in the Discord and having some laughs and sharing some memes.
Having some goofs and gaffs.
I might have to watch that tonight.
Platforms like YouTube, Patreon, Spotify, they're all ass. They don't respect your privacy, they're riddled with ads, and they're completely silent and unreachable when you need help. Have you ever talked to somebody at YouTube? Think about that. I sure haven't. To top it all off, we don't control them at all, despite being the reason they exist.
So that's why we're partnering with a design and development agency called Sanctuary Computer to build our own cooperative alternatives that bring the best features of all those platforms together and that we can control together too.
We seriously gotta have an exodus to some sort of digital Zion that we build ourselves. Somewhere where all of us can actually have a say over the technology that we're using to communicate with each other. For more on how you can support us all in getting off these shitty platforms, visit opencollective.com/digital Zion and tap in.
Just because these dystopian systems are eating themselves alive
doesn't mean they gotta take us with them.
Yeah, the Discord.
Check the description, on the videos, on the YouTube videos.
Because
there.
that link you can go ahead and join.
Check the description on a Discord.
But yeah, we mentioned last episode we want to use that as like, we at least got that organizational tool already. So might as well tap in, and it's already been just like really cool people, really dope people.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
That reminds me of what I wanted to speak to, but not to bring it back to the anime discussion.
Bring it on back. We were talking. How did we get into that? We were talking about Hater and his performance in Barry kind of being uncanny.
Oh yeah, being in that perfect blue space.
Yeah.
Speaking of like, I think you used the word organized, but
yeah, I did.
But that's been my big thought, is like, in the anime space, there's such a strong connection among all these people, and there's so much space for like connection and organization in the same way that
like the furries,
the furry community. Exactly what I was gonna say. But there's this disconnect where people kind of, I think, partly because of the way Americans have treated anime for so long, there's this disconnect where people think like, oh, there's no way it couldn't be political. This stuff is not political at all. And people just kind of like have that weird disconnect when they're watching shit like Attack on Titan, which is like the World War the deepest World War II allegory or the most overt shit you've ever seen.
We first really talked about this in terms of Dragon Ball Z. And like how people responded to that one video essay you did.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah, when you like really break it down and like look at Dragon Ball Z, and to be clear,
just the denialism, if that's a word.
Yeah, it's denialism, and it's like, to be clear, when I talk about Dragon Ball Z and like the racial implications of a show like that, where you got like the Saiyans that start out as like monkeys essentially, and their highest form of evolution is like straight up an Aryan. People get into these like cognitive
didn't quite do that math yet.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're Japanese in their regular form, and then they're white in their powered form.
And then and people get into these like mental gymnastics of like,
Hitler's
well,
Stream, yeah.
no, their eyes are actually
Super Saiyan.
green.
The Uber Saiyan.
The Uber Saiyans.
The powerful Uber Saiyans.
The Uber Saiyan gods.
Sorry,
yeah.
what were you saying though?
Well, people like really get into the space where they like try to nitpick all the little things, like, oh, well, their eyes are actually green, or like,
literally,
literally,
he's not stretching it. This is literally we were had a conversation because of that.
Things people have explicitly said, and it's like
to explain it away.
Or like, it was the manga, and like Toriyama just got tired and didn't want to color in their hair anymore, so he made their hair white and it became blonde in the show. That's what it was. Or like he forgot to draw their tails after a while.
It's like, can we like baseline
like it's Charlie Brown and he didn't want to draw his
yeah, right.
Yeah. It's like, can we at least baseline acknowledge the possibility of some implicit biases and conditioning and like self-hatred? Can we like at least,
doesn't have to be so accusatory. It's just like,
but people take, they're just like, no, like white people specifically, it's just like no, we're not talking about that.
Well, even
like,
black
that's
people
not a
have told me I'm reaching or whatever.
Well, yeah, because they love it so much, so they feel like they gotta like, no, that can't be true.
Yeah,
so,
and like my conclusion in that video particularly was like, there's a lot of racist shit in this show, including like Mr. Popo. Mr. Popo
it's fucking
is
minstrel
shit.
Yeah.
But they say like, oh no, he's just a genie. That's what genies look like. And I'm just like, no.
It is minstrel.
Yeah. Like visibly. But
there's a tad of that in Berserk we talked about too.
Yeah.
And we're talking to a Berserk head, but even I'm like, not to spoil anything. I guess I shouldn't.
It's early on.
I'm not gonna spoil anyone who's like gonna read the manga, but it's like, really the one black person, this is what they are to you? Damn, dog.
And it's like,
and as black people, we're used to we just like deal with it kind of. Yeah. We kind of just, because we're just surrounded, we're in a white supremacist society and world, so we kind of just like learn to pick out the bad shit and just deal with it. And some of us don't. Some of the people closest to me don't. They would be like, that is coonery buffoonery that you would consume a manga.
I literally
do you hear me? That you would consume a manga that depicts your African brother in that way, my brother.
I literally just watched a Spike Lee movie. But,
and it's valid. That's valid. It's like, everyone hates us, or everyone fucking treats us like dirt, depicts us like dirt.
Yeah.
But I'm bringing this all, trying to tie this all into the DBZ thing, and why a black person would be like, no.
Yeah.
Like,
And
no.
And
this can't be.
Yeah, exactly. Because the implications are so deep when you put two and two together on that. Oh, they turned into German Hitler's wet dream.
Right.
Superpower.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's when I had that epiphany, I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
And it was late. It was late in life. I was at first
just like fucking sick.
Yeah. Powered up.
Right.
Trunk's hair is like light pink.
Hell yeah.
It's
got
he's got a fucking blade and a fucking cool.
It's got that high cut jacket.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It's got the Leo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say though?
But my conclusion in that video was like, it was really kind of getting at, where do you sort of how much can you discount like the unity, the unifying factor among like black people who have seen the show, and they acknowledge that element of it, but they're also like, enough black people fuck with this that I can like build with a bunch of fucking black people, and find community there. And I think
we deal with it and perceive it how we're gonna do it.
Exactly. And there's that element in the whole across the anime community where we can just acknowledge what this is. And in a lot of cases, like I talk about Miyazaki a lot in that context, because that's where it's the most overt, like.
Oh, I just got the Berserk one, in the manga. You're saying? Oh yeah. That's I did notice that actually. When I read it, I was like, wow. Okay,
yeah.
Well,
it's bleak.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Setting the tone here. R.I.P. Mura, but you're setting the tone there.
Wake up every day and imagine the one black character in your manga is
right.
killed your whole family.
Yeah.
But
it's worse than that.
I mean, but I didn't want to say it.
Yeah.
But like Miyazaki, for example, he went to the same school as Mishima. And so he has this like political background.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He has this political background to him where like his whole career, or the early part of his career, he spent as a Marxist and worked at the studio that produced Dragon Ball Z, and unionized that studio. Produced one film as like structurally the company was still the same, but like they were so at odds with the management where they were like let's produce this film as a democratic unit, you know.
Quick context, you're going into this on the point of political and anime. That's the okay. Just so people are.
And I would say anime as a means of bringing people
right,
together
right.
for organizing.
Right.
Yeah, because there's that community that already exists, but if they were just like willing to activate based on the stuff that they're seeing and what's in front of them, and when it comes to Miyazaki specifically, it's like he follows this trajectory that's almost like parallel with the trajectory of Murray Bookchin, where he starts as like an orthodox Marxist, and because it's sort of
Bookchin started as a Stalinist.
Well, you know what I mean. But like,
it's just worth to emphasize the point.
As docs as it gets.
Right.
Yeah, very on the top-down authoritarian, and then ends up transcending the whole left paradigm in a way.
Right. And in Miyazaki's case, because it happens in tandem with him becoming this like head of a company, owner of this studio, I don't think he really has the capacity to articulate where he's at now.
Yeah.
Because he's kind of lost sight of that through line.
Yeah.
But if you look at his work, there's
the themes are there.
The themes have been there. The themes have always, and like Mononoke is what we always point to.
Yeah.
Because that's where it's the most evident. But then if you look at the Nausicaa manga compared to the film, it's literally him like shedding this whole messianic narrative. He starts it around, I think, a little bit before he is writing the movie. It's like as a break after Laputa, I want to say. But he starts it around 88, 89, I want to say. But he doesn't finish it until 94, like 2 years after the fall of Yugoslavia, which is like, for him, the last hope of like world communism or whatever. The last vestiges of the, you know.
Hard quotes on that.
Huh? Hard quotes.
Hard quotes on communism there.
Hard quotes.
Yeah.
But for him at the time, still being a Marxist.
Who are we talking about again?
Miyazaki. Miyazaki. That to him was like the last hope.
Not that all Marxists would subscribe to the notion that. Right. I'm sorry. I'm always gonna put the footnotes on it.
The Wikipedia footnotes.
I'm always gonna have to do that.
Yeah, please do, because I won't do it.
But I didn't even finish. Not that all Marxists would subscribe to the idea that Yugoslavia was an example of communism or a communist effort.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
But after that happens, he like returns to the manga with kind of fresh eyes, and that's when he first really zeroes in on this like obviously the movie has the ecological aspects of it, but this is where he really zeroes in on like ecological collapse and man-made ecological collapse, to the point of like the concept of Ragnarok that Bookchin talks about in Ecology of Freedom. And he really zones in on that to the point where like Nausicaa, who still is this like monarch figure, but like a benevolent monarch, she leans into straight up eco-fascist. Yeah. And is like,
people say the term people use is benevolent dictator too.
Yeah.
That's the term.
Right. But she it's to the point where she's straight up like, look, man, we made this shit and I don't know if we deserve to make it out of it. So
Nausicaa? This character Nausicaa?
Yeah. And is like look, man, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and if we all die, we all die. But I hope we don't. But like, it's really just kind of accepting the fate we've created for ourselves. And
there's an Ursula Le Guin connection to Miyazaki at this point in the timeline. I think it's
this.
At
this point, he has probably asked her if they can adapt Earthsea. Yeah,
but she
initially said
no.
no.
But that they had probably been reading her works.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah.
Still trying to find that bookchin, that direct social ecology connection with Miyazaki.
Well,
in terms of like him, that being an explicit point of reference.
Yeah. Well, the closest I've seen to that is just like a Japanese ethnobotanist named Sasuke Nakao, I believe his name.
Yeah.
And I can't find anything that he's written.
Yeah. That's what was.
Was that what was connections?
That was what was featured in that documentary on Princess Mononoke, or no? This is something separate.
I've just found it his name tangentially in a few sources. I read this book Miyazaki World that mentions him, by Susan Napier, but
he was reading though anthropological texts and texts around ecology.
Yeah.
So it's more likely than not he had ran into bookchin at least the surface level.
Must have come across it in some way.
Side note, is that Mononoke documentary available somewhere, or is it like it's just on like VHS or whatever, like the long form version?
There's a VHS version and there's a DVD version, and the DVD version is way too expensive if you're trying to buy it right now. But
it's not like streaming anymore.
Well, it's online. It's on. I sent y'all. There's a really, really low res one, maybe on Daily Motion.
Okay.
With subtitles, but the high res one, there's no subtitles in Japanese. So that's when I was sending you those high res clips, and I was translating some of it for you.
Yeah.
Those are both, I think, on Daily Motion.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to give, I guess, everything because I'm writing a thing about this. But like, but basically, Miyazaki has a very clear political trajectory that is like really, and like he doesn't quite get all of it, but he has this like foundation and a framework that so clearly parallels somebody who is like way less accessible than he is as an artist.
But then he's also breaking with so many shallow tropes and traditions from a narrative standpoint. I remember he was critiquing the Dark Crystal in an interview and I love the Dark Crystal, but he was putting up some amazing critiques of like how it plays into the good versus evil, and he's like, my films aren't, real life doesn't work that way.
Not at all.
You have all these different people from all these different places who think that they're doing the right thing most of the time. Most of the time they think that they're doing the right thing. And that leads to more complex social dynamics as it relates to like storytelling, or it should relate to storytelling in that way. And that's a part of why Princess Mononoke is my favorite film of all time, and it's such a special film to me because it is a social ecology story where there isn't any good and bad. I mean, you can interpret it that in your own way based upon whatever values you hold, but the picture you're seeing is of all these different forces with their own motives and motivations that seem rational and right and just. And then there's Mother Nature. And Mother Nature is going to do what it's going to do, and the humans have to figure their shit out.
It's and it's so interesting. It's so deep to where like he raises questions where I'm like, he must have read this and it's like books that came out way later than the movie did. But like there's a moment in Mononoke where Lady Eboshi is she's like firebombing the mountains where all the apes are. And she says this line, which is like, I literally just started reading Dawn of Everything, and there was this bar about how basically the way they justified taking land from indigenous people was they essentially were like, if you're not working this land, then you have no claim to it. But the ways that they were working the land was just imperceptible to Europeans. They thought of it as like large scale farming and shit like that, where they're managing the land, but they're not like
simply living off of it's not enough.
Yeah,
you have
exactly.
to industrialize it.
Exactly.
Agribusiness.
Yeah. And there's this line in Mononoke where I gotta paraphrase, but like she's firebombing these mountains and are just like, once these are clear of all these animals, then damn, I can't even remember now I feel like Ashton right now, but like it's more or less like once we clear the land of all these stupid animals, then we
can get to our agri-crop jug.
Yeah, more or less. And it was just like so
the crop business.
Yeah, and that line stood out to me. So,
but it was iron. Like their whole shit is like, this is our livelihood is in manufacturing this thing, and this is what's gonna keep us going, and so we need to.
Yeah, and then there's also the element where they're sort of at odds with the emperor too. So you see, like, even if you can view Lady Eboshi as like evil, you can still see her being that from the position of like, we're kind of oppressed in our own way. We're fending off the emperor's forces from this like fortified.
It goes so hard.
Yeah,
I gotta rewatch it.
Yeah.
Do you see how this is a reflection of like the reality of like geopolitics and like nationalist struggle and like anarchic struggle, like how all of it collides.
Resistant forces having their own reactionary ideologies and religions. And things
like that.
And it's like it's amazing to me that like anime fans would pretend it's a coincidence that he chose the Amishi tribe, which like literally fought off the formation of the Japanese empire, Japanese nation state, and they'll pretend that's a coincidence. Right.
This is the point.
That goes deep.
Yeah.
No, this is the point. This is like your original point of like, stop making it political, bro. It's just a fucking kiddie cartoon movie, dude.
Exactly.
Calm down.
Right. Exactly.
Calm down, okay?
Yeah, and it's like that. That through line
tying it back to the Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Right.
But we can look at it that way.
We can look at it that way.
But it's like read one Miyazaki interview.
Yeah, exactly.
He's telling you what it is.
Like, it's a coincidence that this man who coincidentally portrayed indigenous people as like the heroes of a story also coincidentally boycotted the Oscars because of the U.S. invasion of Iraq.
Right.
Yeah, that's all coincidence.
Yeah.
None of that has any bearing on reality.
Right.
People,
it's just a cartoon, bro.
It's just
Calm
a cartoon,
down,
dog.
People
It's not
like
that
recently on the timeline, a couple tweets. One was the scene like in like the first episode of Dragon Ball where Goku like looks up Bulma's skirt or like takes off her panties.
Yeah.
And then there's like another scene where Bulma gets like attacked by like a black and brown man. And it also looks not good.
That's in my video.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's just like, that's, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's like, you straight up get, I don't know. Yeah. It's just.
I think that's all fair game.
Well, there's this thing, you know what it is? It's escapism. It's people want, it's like, this is my fiction, my art, this is my escape. Don't bring your real world shit into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, sorry, the real world shaped your quote unquote escape. Sorry.
It shaped who created your escape.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, it shaped it all. I mean, it shapes it all. You know? And it goes beyond just the expression. It's in how that shit was produced, how it fucking got to you, and all of that shit.
Yeah.
All of that, it's like in this, to use an overused word.
J.K. Rowling.
Yeah. I mean there's a conversation.
She's got shit in Harry Potter. That's like,
Cho Chang, that name.
Oh my
there's
God.
all kinds. There's the goblins, or the fucking
Gringotts, Banks,
I mean, it's like
There's even the conversation in anime, like the early days, of how most of this stuff, one, got to us through like college students, which were the only people that had access to like the internet at that time.
Right.
But also a lot of these people had like military connections.
Interesting.
Because who else could really be in and out of Japan like that to get media over here? You know, there's that conversation to be had.
Yeah,
you know,
that's a whole conversation in of itself.
Yeah, it's a whole.
It's all a means to legitimize Japan-U.S. relations and imperial empire.
There is that conversation, man. It's like people are really just kind of letting this.
And that shit is deep. That shit is deep, and I think about it too at the level, because I always explain to people how from the time I was a kid, from the time I was a kid, I've been into some type of cultural export from Japan. You know, whether it's a lot of us, it's like normal video games, cartoons, television. Then I got a little bit older, and then it was like fashion, and then you think back on like the nationalistic sort of like implications of it all, and the narratives of it all, and me coming to have the politics that I have now, and like, I'm always rambling about the nation state and going us organizing beyond it and like the next system. I've been able to kind of hold that context of like there are these broader forces that have been at play for decades, and they have their interests and whatever in terms of the U.S. and Japan and the so-called West, but then also come to appreciate just the human artistic and creative and cultural contributions that have come out of Japan and from Japanese people in the place.
And I think that goes for all countries. I mean,
I bring this up though because for a lot of my favorite Japanese creatives, most of them are like leftists or left leaning or whatever. And a part of that for a lot of them has to do with them. They almost want to reject their Japanese identity because they understand the horrors of the 20th century and back, and they have a critique of how society is structured. I'm specifically thinking about Ryuichi Sakamoto because he talked about this in interviews. He actually had, when he was younger, there's this legendary avant-garde composer named Toru Takemitsu. He's like one of my favorite composers of all time, next to Sakamoto. And when Sakamoto was younger, Takemitsu was like sort of in the end, sort of, I guess you could say, the last arc of his life and career. And he started incorporating more traditional Japanese, instrumentation and chord progressions and instruments into his music. And I think I read a story about how Sakamoto like showed up to, and if I'm misremembering, I apologize, but he showed up to one of Toru Takemitsu's like performances or shows or concerts or something, and was like handing out pamphlets, like kind of like telling people not to support him or something for that reason, for that choice, because he almost interpreted it as like this is violent, like what you're doing. And
interesting. The
you get what I'm saying? Yeah, because before that he just did it very experimental, self-taught, also just a fucking genius. But yeah, then he just starts to just incorporate, things that sound distinctively Japanese. And Sakamoto, he must have been in college or something, or like in his late teens or early 20s. He sees that and he's just like, "Fuck you, man! Like fuck you!"
Wow,
and it wasn't until later in his life and career, I guess, maybe even just some years later, to where he's able to contextualize it in that way that I'm describing, where he can be like, okay, yes, this fucked up shit happened, but like people are people, and this is what people did, and there's good and there's bad. Musically, there's some great stuff, and that's how we get a lot of Sakamoto's music. Yellow Magic Orchestra, it's distinctively, there's a Japanese, cultural quality, to it. Yeah. And but it does, even as I'm saying Japanese, it's like when you do have this understanding, it does call for like how do we even how we describe things culturally? How do we move beyond this monolithic nationalistic identity? And I'm sure that a lot of Japanese creators with this type of thinking wonder the same thing. They're like, how can we describe whatever this is without calling it Japanese? Because
Miyazaki has a similar through line, because partly because of his family's participation in the war, like his dad and his uncle made parts for the Mitsubishi Zeros,
right?
Right. And so
those planes, or
those are the planes that were used in Pearl Harbor.
Oh shit! Wow.
So he has a very direct connection. Like he brings up this memory that might be fake. His brother has said it might not have happened this way, but he like has a memory of being 4 years old and like his family escaping to Utsunomiya, where the factory was, while the U.S. is firebombing Tokyo, and like a woman and her child asking them for help, and they just left him. And he has that memory as like, and that's like his defining memories of Japan. But like, that's why I've been telling people like Totoro to me is a war movie, because his image.
I mean, you should watch Grave of the Fireflies. Ghibli.
It was a double feature with Grave of the Fireflies.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
that's fire.
And so to me, that's like, there's the real picture.
That's beautiful.
Of the war. And then there's Totoro, which is like he lived at his grandfather's beautiful garden estate.
Right.
And so to me, Totoro is like a war movie. And after that, like, or before that, a lot of his films are just like based in a vague like analog of Europe. Like a lot of his stuff is
Eurocentric, Eurocentricity.
Yeah, because he really just hates Japan and Japaneseness and all this stuff. And
it's really interesting.
Yeah, and he had a similar thing happen. And you can really get into like questions about like third positionism and all, like how fascist threads can creep in to this type of stuff. But like he got a lot of criticism with his most recent movie, The Wind Rises, because it portrays the Jiro Horikoshi, who's the man who designed the Mitsubishi Zero. And to me, absolutely, you could like, thematically, that's a crazy choice. But if you pair it up with all of his work before that and the themes that he's unpacked beforehand, to me that film is like, this is a man who wanted to design planes, and how fucked up is it that my only option if I want to do that,
like
is
so
to
many
contribute
genius
to the
engineers, only options are now.
Yeah, like even
Same
like
shit.
Neil deGrasse Tyson has said that like all the work I've done has gone to military shit.
So the film is like one big face it. Yeah, that's one way I feel like you could interpret it. Face this.
And to clarify, like face what? Like face the contradiction. Kind of?
Face that nation state contradiction, and like
how you can't have a traditional culture of a community of human beings that does have things you can love about it, but that ultimately it's like within.
Well, you got to unpack the top layer, not to deviate too far from what the point you were making. But I was just gonna say, like, on even you say traditional, it's like, what does that mean? And
I'm saying, like,
I'm not saying directly to you. I'm saying in general, like that's a question all of us have to interrogate. Like, what does it mean that millions and millions of people identify with this monolithic, what they call homogenous, identity? It's like, no, you're made up. Your identity is made up of the Chinese and Korean, and we're using nation state terms here to talk about big groups of people, but you come from that part of the land too, and indigenous Ainu people, and you're a mix of all of those peoples. That's what you are. So what is Japan?
I mean, Ashitaka in Mononoke is the last of the Amishi tribe. I already said this, but the tribe that stood up to Japanese imperialism early on, like the 1500s, I think.
And were they? Would you consider them indigenous?
Yeah, absolutely.
But you, I feel like face it though on The Wind Rises is just at the level of you're a creative. And to do your thing, you're doing a deal with the devil.
Exactly. Like you have no other choice. There's even these dream sequences with this, I forget his name, but this Italian engineer who is just like just look at the beauty of airplanes and aircraft. You could just fly through, and he has these dreams where they just fly and stand on the wings of planes, and it's like these beautiful sequences. And then there's a scene where he goes to Germany to learn from German engineers, and you see their planes are just like these ugly, like
bombers.
Like if you remember like the Monty Python animated sequences, they're like ugly and like bleak like that, like those would be.
Yeah.
And he's very deliberate in his choices like that. And there's a scene of Werner Herzog being like smoking cigarettes, being like, Germany will fall, Japan will fall, all of this, all this stuff.
And what year does it take place? In the early 30s, maybe? Or?
No, this is like during World War II.
Oh shit!
They in the thick of it, baby.
So they're straight going to Nazis.
Yeah, 100, like straight up.
They in them imperialist
Which is
guts.
why I say this is an insane choice.
No, I mean
to make this move, but like
that's like the person you would need to.
Yeah, this is the only person where I want to take it in good faith and say like, he's just saying
right
these things that like, and it's again to bring it back to like Bookchin, it's getting into this like the technology for the world we want to live in exists,
right,
and we've made it and then we've destroyed it
in
the interest of imperial projects, you know, to not even to like destroy America, but to make a statement toward America. We've created these machines that kill people when they could just fly around and be pretty. And you know, it's
side note, there's a fucking incredible Errol Morris documentary called Fog of War, which is him interviewing Robert McNamara, who I forget his like full credentials, whatever, but he was like Secretary of State or whatever. I don't know. He was like in charge of a lot of military shit through World War II and Vietnam. And there's a sequence where they go over, they just basically, it's like a montage, and it's numbers and then city names, and it's casualties from firebombing, where we firebombed Japan. And that sequence, you'll never forget it, because it's just like it's unfathomable the amount of people we killed from firebombing, which is like not even remotely humane. It's like sarin gas. It's just like you're just
the amount of people the U.S. killed, the U.S. government.
That's what I'm saying.
You said we.
Right. Yeah.
You need to unpack the nationalistic conditioning in your mind, my brother. You need to get, are you listening to me? You need to get America out of your head, my brother.
I'm trying to take
Which side are you on, my brother?
I pay taxes to the country that did that.
Okay, well, you were coercively put into a situation where you have to do that to live. You did not choose that, my brother.
Thank you. Yeah. The U.S. did it.
No, all jokes aside, that was like a big epiphany for me.
Is saying we?
Well, no, like, no, I'm saying that the first time I had somebody be like, who's we? You know? And it's like, yeah, fuck America. What the fuck? American? What?
Right.
Who gives a fucking shit about America? I give a fuck about the people that are around me. I give a fuck about my family and my community and my friends. And I give a fuck about the well-being of people in general. I don't need America to do that.
Yeah. It's it's way less like a we of pride and more like a we of admission of like complicity of like
But even that though, that's a part of the conditioning.
Yeah.
They want you to identify with what they do. They want you to identify with their
like, why am I going to Europeans and be like, yeah, we're so stupid over there? It's like, I'm not fucking stupid. like fuck that. Like, I like canes and shit, but I'm not fucking stupid.
Roy Wood Jr. has a great joke about that, where he's like, you know, black people never write songs about America. They never write songs about it. Obviously, it's not true. But he's like, black folks don't write songs about America. They write songs about individual cities where you can have a good time.
He's like,
on
point.
Even James Brown, living in America. He's talking about Chicago, Atlanta.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, man. That shit is so funny to me.
But that's so crucial. Man. It's just like a testament to how deep that conditioning
Dude, for real.
It's all these things, like in all these ways you don't even think think about. You don't even think to think about.
Yeah,
you know?
It's like
right.
everyone. It's like it's because I don't know. It's like everyone around you also thinks that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We see ourselves as Americans.
They fucking made us say the Pledge of Allegiance as children.
Right.
I wish I could.
I mean, I
unpack-
went to Catholic school, so it was like that, then pray. So it was like
Oh my
you're
God.
two different gods before you even get started. You know what I mean?
And they want to
Yeah.
talk up. Look, and we're not doing this whataboutism bullshit. Hear me out. We're not. This is not what this is. But these people, the ruling class over here in the U.S., want to point to the People's Republic of China and DPRK and all these places. They're also fucked up.
Yeah,
They're
certainly.
also fucked up. But that, you don't see the hypocrisy in that? You had a stand. You make us stand in a room with our hand over our hearts and go, "One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all." That's crazy.
And it's like we
insane.
probably had a George Washington, Thomas Jefferson picture in the classroom. You
So
know,
it's just like in
not
North
President
Korea.
Same
Xi,
shit.
but
It's just like
you know,
Same
but
shit.
it's the same mechanism. It's the same conditioning
Abraham
mechanism.
Lincoln next to
Right.
a globe.
Right, and it's like we got to get away from all of that shit.
Yeah.
We got to get away from all that shit. It's neither of those. None of these projects are good. It's all fucking bad.
Yeah.
You know.
And to the point about Miyazaki, it's just like about, and your point about Sakamoto is just like, how do you evoke the things that are beautiful about the space that we grew up in?
That's
The
what I'm
people.
trying to
Without
say.
the people,
right.
the people, the land, all of these things, without it becoming this nationalistic thing.
Yeah.
And I even watched
tricky.
I
It's
watched
tricky.
a video essay on Miyazaki where somebody described him as a nationalist outside of The Wind Rises, which I can see how that can be interpreted as a nationalist film. But like, just the fact that he portrayed Japan in its beauty, like the just the beauty of the land, the resources.
This is
all
the
of
point
these
Sakamoto
things.
made, if I'm not mistaken. This is the point he
Yeah.
made. He's like, I learned I don't have to reject that.
Yeah,
There's customs that are thousands of years old here, and in the music and in the art.
yeah.
And the empire uses that to its own, for its own aims.
But they
and whatever.
predate the nation state
Right.
by centuries.
Right.
Watch the I mean, this is one of the emotionally tragic parts about climate change is the American West is gorgeous. It's a gorgeous, majestic, triumphant land. I mean, it's like you watch the documentary The West, and it talks about the first pioneers that and the people that obviously lived there before fucking Europeans showed up. And it's just like, it's a mythic land. It's gorgeous. If you go to Utah, you are awe-inspired. There's slabs of rock that looks like a giant laid them there. I mean, it's just, it's incredible. America, the land of North America is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. Canada, gorgeous. But yeah.
And there were indigenous people who were here for thousands of years who knew how to live in balance with it.
Yeah. Right.
To varying degrees. And yeah, that shit is important. There's a through line on everything we're talking about here, like in terms of Miyazaki and the music and all of that stuff. That's like why it's like, it's fucking worth digging into the past and like studying history. And as we've said before, it's like there's some shit people were doing thousands of years ago, ways that they were moving with each other, that it holds the fucking keys. It holds the answers for us today.
Yeah.
And you don't have to mystify it in the sense of like making it this magical, what's the expression that's used for
Like romanticism or whatever.
Well, it's like, for Black people, it's the magical Negro trope in like film, but then for indigenous people, what is it? Oh, the noble savage.
Oh,
It's like the noble savage trope of like, man, they had these magical people. They had the way, and then these other people
they had
came.
wars and shit.
Yeah, they had all. Yeah, exactly. That's my
like
point.
they would sometimes, if there was a herd of buffalo, they would run them all off a cliff and they would take one, and there would be 80 dead buffalo that they didn't use. Like,
and there were contradictions too. There were contradictions. And then if we're looking through the last few centuries, you know, you had indigenous people that we talked about, this enslaved African people, and then you had African and indigenous people organizing themselves just however many miles away. So it's not this fucking uniform cookie cuttery narrative or way that it went, but it's just to say, like, to Graeber and Wengrow's point, you know, if you fucking dig in enough, you're gonna find, oh shit, this was a good fucking idea.
That one worked.
Damn, we should maybe try that now.
There's a precedent for all of it.
Right.
There is even
and even if there's not,
right,
there's just the fact that there are other precedents can suggest that maybe we can try some new shit.
Socially.
And like there were indigenous communities that organized, or at least had like the same cultural attitudes that we have as like people in America. This like workerism and all that, like there were people with that ethic, you know,
and royalty
and all of those things, you know, like the Aztec Empire fell because it had that same expansionist bullshit going on that we have now, you know, because if you went out and brought enough people back to be sacrificed, and they give you a plot of land, but where the fuck is all this land coming from? You know? And so like we have precedents for why what we're doing doesn't work, and for why there are hundreds of other options, thousands of other options to pick and choose from, and limitless, really, limitless. Lots of things we could do.
Pick and choose.
Trump is probably the last person I should have said that, right? Like, whose voice I should have said.
Can I read what he said about Joe Biden? It's hilarious.
Pull it up, probably.
Right?
It's honestly it's not even worth pulling up. It's just from one of those little memo things.
Surrounding communities united against the Aztecs because Hernan Cortez offered a possibility of salvation from Aztec colonialism.
It's just unreal how funny this is. This is from July 21st. Statement by Donald J. Trump, 45th President of the United States of America. He said, this is like from his letter, you know.
Yeah.
Joe Biden, who many have said is our worst president, has come down with a case of the China virus despite being vaccinated. I hope Sleepy Joe is able to bounce back quickly. China virus... as much as I was. Doctors described my fight against the China virus as Herculean, and not meaning the woke Disney Hercules. As woke. As woke. Where I'm pretty sure there's not a single non-woke.
Michael Bolton is shaking in his boots. He cannot go the distance. Not the woke Hercules, Disney Hercules, the Kevin Sorbo version.
I can go the distance.
I'm speaking specifically of the Kevin Sorbo Hercules.
Oh, that's what he said.
What? Keep going.
He goes, not meaning the woke Disney Hercules, but rather the Kevin Sorbo one. And then he goes, the Lou Ferrigno one as well.
You mean the Hulk?
Yeah, it's like,
why is Disney's Hercules woke? Why is that woke?
It's like, and you know all woke means is just
James Woods did the voice of fucking Hades, dude. Is that your homie? Like, what?
And he goes,
James Woods went, well, I don't really know about that.
Yeah. Exactly.
James Woods got a little hurt.
He got upset when he
I wasn't in a woke movie.
You just walk out of a Family Guy recording session like,
yeah. And he goes, Joe, I wish you a speedy recovery, even though you are taking America in the wrong direction. No one wants Kamala. That's how he ended it.
That's how he ends it?
With an exclamation point.
Oh, my God.
No one wants Kamala.
That's real?
We can all agree.
That's not satire? That's real?
This is real. This is completely real.
You looked it up?
No one wants Kamala.
Now you're making me question.
Lucy Lawless from the Xena the Warrior Princess.
Who put that out? Like, Because that is like,
It's
comedy.
hysterical.
That is comedy.
No, I guarantee you that's all off the dome. Like
someone else was
oh my
typing it.
God.
He was just like sitting in his chair eating a McDonald's fry and just telling him what to say.
I can't believe you really said Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah,
God's not dead.
that movie's hilarious.
Holy
wait.
shit. It was a joke?
It is fabricated.
God, see, I'm glad I brought that up.
Oh man.
The screenshot shared online featured the Save America banner viewable in statements published by
Is this
Trump.
Snopes? Are you on a Snopes?
This is Reuters.
Reuters.
Oh damn.
Damn.
It was too. It was too good.
It was. You know what? The high was real, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, it's better to have
Kevin
loved and
Sorbo
lost.
shared it, so it's like, goddamn.
Oh.
And it's like, it's perfectly fair game because
You gotta have critical thinking skills, my brother.
because he.
If it's too good to be true, if it sounds
It
too
is
good to be true,
to be true.
It probably is.
it probably is.
See, the thing is it's not too good to be true. It's so
Right.
able to be true.
Right,
That is.
right.
That's a good point.
Oh God, that gave me such a laugh though.
Yeah.
Not like
Not the woke Hercules, the Kevin Sorbo version.
Oh my God.
That's so fucking funny.
I'm
man.
glad I asked now.
Yeah.
Because there was not hundreds of comments like he didn't say that.
Yeah.
Right.
Bro, you guys are. I love your comedy. Like you guys are funny, but like he didn't say that.
Yeah. Now I'm questioning everything
L
you've ever
Everything you're
said.
talking about. Like, do you actually check your sources, dude?
I'm laughing at the Reuters person who had to write that up. Like, no, that's not real. I know it seems very real, but here's a 200
The
page
giveaway
article.
was woke Disney Hercules. That was the giveaway to me.
That didn't give that. You know,
It
like
feel-
that's
it
like a
felt very
perfect. That's
It
like
was too.
that's like Ocean's
of
11.
course.
It was just
all
like
of it is possible.
Like it just was a perfect crime.
All of it
Right.
is possible, but that was just too good. It was
Yeah.
like too much. It was like one thing over. Like
yeah. It was when he
it's
said,
like he wouldn't even have that cultural touchstone.
You know what?
Right.
The only thing that makes it harder to believe is like that's like his confidence humor wise when he was on fire, like back in like 2016. He was
Yeah.
that. Now he's just like a little like.
You can tell, yeah. There's not
I'm
as
at
much.
sea back.
Yeah, there's not
Yeah.
as much of a.
Yeah.
I'm actually
Flame to him.
trying not to die.
Yeah, I'm trying not to die or go to jail.
His voice has changed a little bit too. I feel like, or at least I watched one of his live events and it sounded different to me. But I don't know. I don't.
He looks
follow
like
him.
the mayor in like a Frank Miller comic book now. He looks
Yeah.
like sweaty and like
Yeah.
like he's got fake teeth now.
The Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he a fascist?
Robert Pattinson, bit of an emo boy.
Like Shinji Ikari.
I can't believe they used that song from Nevermind. We liked that one.
Don't get me started on that.
Well, I watched the Malik episode where you guys were talking about.
Oh
it.
yeah, we did talk about that on there.
God.
Anyways,
Jeremy Irons
Y'all seem tired.
owns a gold mine.
I am tired. What time is it?
I'm wide the fuck
Yeah,
awake.
it's
I
perfect
took
time to end it.
I had a
Yeah.
yerba right before we started. I'm not sleeping tonight, dog.
I caught like a
I
half
yerb
yawn.
off.
That's what made me say that.
Oh, I just yawn
was
a lot.
You caught half of what?
Half a yawn, like he had a yawn, but he contained it kind of. Like
Me?
half contained it. No, him. You
Oh,
go.
I do that all day.
I'm just
always like,
I'm pretty good at it.
yeah, just.
I'll
I'm
just skip the
just a-
tears. Yeah.
I'm
I used to
just,
be an acolyte. Like I used to do like Catholic mass, like be one of the altar boys. And my mom, the first time I did it, she
I
goes
just
like,
hear Halo music whenever.
well, that's probably what I was thinking about. I was like, I could be playing Halo right now.
Right.
But my mom was like, were yawning, obviously, the whole time. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh. That was the first time I realized it's impolite to yawn. So I was probably
Yeah.
going like, the whole match. Bored out of my mind. Oh, man.
I'm just a yawning ass nigga.
We had a father who was quadriplegic. And I did not get the rundown that I was supposed to help him go up the ramp back to the altar. So this poor guy was just waiting for like 4 minutes, and someone from the crowd had to help him. And I just felt fucking awful about that. I was just like, wow, that was my first time. And I
Wow.
fucked it up.
Damn.
Anyways, that was a lot of pressure being an altar boy when you're like in 6th grade, 5th grade.
Yeah.
And you're like in front of the whole community, and you got to like remember. You basically have to learn what mass is and like how that goes.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that sounds very scary.
It's really awkward.
You gotta put on that robe and hold that golden rod, stand up there with a candle or some shit. I don't really know, but I be seeing some shit. I'm like,
do you
that
guys
looks
like
some
the
shit.
smell of incense like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that used to get me high, bro. Just
I love the smell of incense.
The Catholic Church is very scary to me.
I love the
I guess that's
architecture.
Yeah.
I used to like growing up Roman Catholic. I used to kind of have like I would go to churches where it's like, all right, guys, and then this part of the song, we're
Praise
all
and
gonna
worship.
Yeah, like that.
right.
Like, oh, we're having fun at mass. I had
Yeah.
like this weird internalized masochism. I'm like, if you're not like, no, this is
That's
serious.
wild.
This is like,
Sing with me, how great. Connie, you're
Yeah.
not singing, is our God. And you're like,
yeah,
look, my God is great, but like,
yeah, but I'm
you
scared.
guys are lame.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's just more like it's one of those things like I had to go through boring mass and you guys are just getting a party every week. This is bullshit.
Right.
You know?
Oh, it was boring for the praise and worship kids though. It gets boring too. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, I mean it's coerced.
Yeah,
it's a
I don't want
coerced
to fucking
gathering.
be here at 9 in the morning on a Sunday, and I got school tomorrow.
Right.
The fuck? And I had to go to church twice on Sundays, and then once on Wednesday. I went to church 3 times a week.
Oh,
Baseline.
Jesus, man.
Baseline. That's not even. That's not even,
like being in prison.
That's not getting into the seasonal church stuff. Because then you have vacation Bible school during the summer, so it's a week. You're there every single day of the week. That was more fun though, because you would do all this crazy ass shit that didn't have much to do with.
Well, that was Catholic
you talking
school.
about
Was like,
drugs?
all right, we're having a Friday mass.
You said what?
I say you talking about drugs?
No, like
Holy spirits.
like
Holy Spirit.
I don't know, water gun fights and kickball and
Okay.
basketball and food stuff. But yeah, no, it was horrible
Yeah, no.
in that way, where it felt like it was a chore.
Catholic school was fun because it'd be like, all right, we got mass Friday, like all school mass. So it would be like you just hang out with your friends and make noise as much as you can during mass, and it's like rowdy and it's fun because you get a couple hours off of classes. And
I was also gonna say, for growing up in a Southern Baptist church, it's a lot of the same praise and worship songs too. It can get sort of monotonous. The shit that was entertaining was who is going to sing the solos today.
Yeah.
And if you got a bad singer singing a solo, you would just be cutting up either in the choir or in the audience.
Right.
But then you'd have your parents like glaring at you and then threatening to punish you or hitting you in the
that's
pew.
so funny.
Right.
But yeah, my friends and I would just make fun of everybody all the time.
We had a guy. They tried to rock it up a little bit, like at the Roman Catholic service.
Whoa.
They let a
What is
guy.
that? I
They
need
they
to
let a
know.
guy who was like a used car salesman, like do singing like this. Oh God, yeah, God, and like
What was he singing?
And
A
then-
praise and worship song?
I don't know, Catholic mass songs and shit.
A Catholic mass song like that? He was singing it like that?
You singing in Latin like that?
They would
'Cause when
try
I
to kind of try to modern it up, but then we had a father come in who was like,
come and the gift that Jesus Christ will receive.
yeah,
Amen. That's like my understanding.
that shit was
of,
like, Amen, Amen, Amen. That's
so I'm
yeah.
like, how
Like
did
Sacred Heart
how did
shit?
this guy put a
it would
remix?
be it would be
on
during
it.
like
Just
it would
picturing-
be like the Eucharistic procession or whatever, like when you're going to get the Eucharist, and like
the
it's a whole-
eucalyptus procession.
the
yeah.
right the what are those bears that eat that shit?
I don't know.
Koalas.
Koalas.
The
all
koala
got-
procession.
They all got chlamydia.
The chlamydia procession. Get some chlamydia, thank you.
Damn, I want like an example though as a music person. I'm like,
I don't know, but he was cheesing it up too much, and then we had this more like classic, stern, respectable really brilliant speaker, rest in peace, Father Jack, who came to our church when I was in like 5th grade. He was the goat. I loved him.
Down.
Yeah.
Father
And,
Jack.
this guy got kind of shuffled out. It was like, all right, you're a fucking
Father Jack sounds like a Who song.
Father Jack, it's Father Jack. Say hello to Father Jack.
He's Father Jack.
Father Jack, and you don't know that. Rest in peace. No disrespect to Father Jack.
Father Jack, and he don't take smack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
But
say hello to Father Jack. I'm thinking I'm like in the Carpenter 70s zone right now with that.
Ground control to Father Jack.
Someone with a big top hat singing that song, but like a hippie top hat.
Right.
Yeah.
Yo, I feel like we could have a whole episode talking about church stuff. Like I could just go for days talking about church stuff.
The one that's just like permanently seared is our God is an awesome God. He reigns on heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God. Did you guys have the hand motions? We fucking learned hand motions with that shit.
Just conducting, you mean?
No, like our God is an awesome
he raised. Yeah. No, I'm
some motor skills type shit.
Y'all doing show quiet.
I also would just like imagine like Spider-Man and the Hulk like fighting in the church, jumping off the lights. Like,
I would daydream. I would daydream
hella.
about weird shit like that too.
Or like a SWAT team coming in and like killing people.
Because there's like all this space and these big windows, so your imagination runs wild. I would doodle and sketch a lot too. I still have some of my church doodles.
Yes, I kind of stopped going to church early on. I went away for high school, so I didn't really go to church after 14.
Lucky you.
But
I mean, by that time I was functionally atheist by that time. So
I mean, I wasn't. It was weird. It was weird because I was still in choir in school, and we did a lot of like religious music, but it wasn't all like Christian. We did like Hebrew stuff too. It was very weird. Like we did like Adon Olam, and we did
interesting.
And then we did like all this like religious like classical music. It was very weird. We did everything.
Whoa.
Like, yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. So I grew up from 14 to 18 was singing like Adon Olam, Hashem Allah.
Like Hebrew?
Yeah.
Wow.
B'terem kol yitzini fra.
Some enchantment table shit going on right now.
So cold.
And I'm like, that's not my Jesus.
I think the closest I heard,
I'd be like high hearing that shit.
El Shaddai. Do you know that? No. El Shaddai, El Shaddai. I don't know.
No Hebrew was spoken at my.
And it's like age to age, we're still the same.
Yeah,
it's like it's a praise and worship song. I don't even know if that's fucking Hebrew.
We have this joke, like this classic bit on Welcome Boke about this deacon I had who'd just be like, "Amen, amen, I say to you, 4 leavings of bread, a letter from Paul to the Ephesians. Amen, amen, I say to you, Jesus took the disciples down the hill, and they washed his feet, and they laid 7 loaves of fish." Like just the most.
They laid 7 loads in his toilet.
Yeah.
They laid 7 unsliced loaves, and they were still the same size.
They laid a level 7 stinker in his toilet. Amen, amen, I say to you.
Stinker.
Amen, amen, I say to you.
Amen, amen.
and Jesus. It's always like,
amen, amen. I say to
yeah, a letter from Paul to the Phoenicians.
Jesus.
Yeah. Jesus. And you always like read like the first or second reading. Nothing really like, not the gospel.
Jesus.
Right.
If there wasn't a priest around, you know,
Right.
maybe the gospel, but yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Amen, amen, I say to you.
Did you have that? The Bible kids would be like, you know what the shortest verse in the Bible is? Jesus wept. It's Catholic
No.
shit, so it's different.
No.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about what version. Bible.
Jesus wept.
Oh no.
We should call it. Y'all motherfuckers look tired as hell.
I am tired.
I am.
But now you're talking about something that
to
took
stress
up
I am
20
wide
years of my
awake.
life.
You said what?
Now you're talking about something that took up 20 years of my life. Like,
Right.
Like the catechism and
Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta stress. I am wide awake, but I will let. We can call.
I'm
it.
wide awake.
Yeah.
I'm wide awake. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Folks, listen.
This is a
We love you guys. I'm a fourth wall breaker. I like doing it.
Me too.
I like doing it.
And do that to camera.
Join the Discord and
Hop back in that open collective.
this
know?
we've had episodes where we explained what we're trying to do and build. So you know
Also
what's
share
up.
with friends, like if there's anybody.
Yeah.
Also, we technically have a subreddit, r/JADED forum established.
Oh yeah.
So in addition to the Discord, if you're a Redditor, you can hop in there, and it's not that set up. It's kind of like bare bones, but start posting stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like Reddit could be fun
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
in terms of like just
Just
a broader
fucking around.
Yeah.
Just really like.
Yeah, it's
expand.
broader. It's you can just kind of fuck around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like strategically we're kind of just like trying to get these episodes out consistently every 2 weeks. We're still kind of like just getting that down. We got a good team. We're always expanding and trying to get those more consistent and just get the show itself more consistent.
Yeah.
And
But
like
part of that though is getting, we're probably going to be doing outreach soon to some of
Yeah.
the folks who are donating. If you're a subscriber to the show and you're like supporting with your moolah, we could use your help just with quality control. Give you
Yeah.
early access to some of the first cuts before they drop,
Yeah.
and in exchange, sort of get your help in finding
Yeah.
errors and mistakes and making sure that by the time it comes out for everyone, it's looking polished and good. So be on the lookout, I guess, for outreach on that tip.
And we appreciate, I really appreciate people that, are supporting, like, because we just put out an episode every 2 weeks. There's not a bonus episode or anything. So, like, if you're
We
supporting.
do technically have one bonus episode, I
That's
think.
true.
Oh, yeah.
We could.
It's episode 0.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it's pretty
it's a pretty funny one.
Yeah.
Totoro and the Cosby Kids.
Yeah.
It's a funny one. It was like literally the first time we tested all this out.
Yeah.
So maybe we could drop that.
But we want to work towards having more.
We want to work
yeah.
towards having more, and I was just underlining that, like, we appreciate that you are supporting without like an immediate
right.
content incentive for that. But
Yeah.
those are definitely coming, and also it's like we're gonna remember who supported early on for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That means a lot. So, stay tuned, and for now, I mean, you're definitely gonna get an episode every 2 weeks. And the more we can pump this up, and
We're trying to get to a week, at least weekly.
Yeah.
yeah,
not more.
which all
Yeah,
of
we
us
wanna get
are
more, but-
eager to do. It's not that we can't record weekly. We recorded this episode a day
Yeah,
after the
back
last
to back.
one.
Yeah.
The Ashton
It's
one
the-
we recorded a day after
Right.
the episode
It's
6.
the post
Yeah.
stuff. It's the post
It's
production
all the
stuff.
post.
Yeah.
It's an
Time
hour.
consuming.
This is a 2-hour plus episode already. That takes a lot of time to. Because
right.
it's like
Yeah.
you're fucking,
We're doing it all ourselves, man.
it's like writing a book. Like every book that comes out has like at least like 20 typos in it. Even ones that go
Right.
through various, like that's a
Right.
fact. My dad's a writer. All books have typos in them.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
So it's just about getting that to a point where it's like a standard that we can keep consistently. So
right.
it's just tough to do when it's this long. But we don't want to make shorter episodes. We just want to make the long ones more consistent and good.
So on that point, if you are an editor and like a professional one at that, please tap in. We could use more help on that front, I think, in general. Logistically, there's probably some more areas we could use help in.
Yeah, I mean,
I think even I was gonna say moderation.
If you especially if you kind of get, I mean, if you go to our Discord, we've kind of laid out some of the guidelines of what we're trying to go for community building wise. We're all trying to be hands-on with it. I'm already checking Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok all day, so also checking a Discord is like, it's a lot of shit to be checking on top of working and also working on the show. So I'm not always going to be on top of it, but we'd like people that are good at moderating and maybe are aligned principles wise. And I think it would help if maybe there was some, like, even if you have a little, I don't know, organizational background or something, I don't know, like
in any context.
Yeah.
You're good at dealing with people, working with people.
Right.
And you pay attention to detail and are attentive.
And that you have the time to be on our Discord frequently, because we kind of don't all have that. And then I guess just, building wise, like, if, this is after an episode where we really kind of like passionately explained why we want this to be built. So maybe that's resonated with some people, and I'll just repeat again, like if you have resources and you're looking at things that are going to be sustainable and for the commons and are just going to create community in a broader thing, and that this thing can help other things become broader things, and et cetera. Like, I'm basically saying, like, if you got resources, like, we're all down to do this.
We're also tapped in.
Tomorrow.
This is like, we're tapped in between thousands of people on this sort of tip at this point.
Yeah.
So we're there. Yeah. The one thing I was going to add too is if anyone has connections with people who might make for dope guests, send our shit their way. Say, hey, these people would probably fuck with you. You would probably fuck with them, and we could bring them on and have cool conversations.
Especially people who are experts in,
and women,
ecologic women. Experts in women.
Can't be all dudes all the time. That's a big one.
Like, I'm even down to have, like, scientists, ecological people, people who are specialized in, the effects on the climate, technology,
history.
History would be fire. Like, literally anyone who you think would be good to have on.
I'm specifying too someone that you have a connection to or know, because people always put, you should get X really big famous person on.
They should be a great guest.
Why haven't they been on yet?
No, literally people do that.
You could challenge them in the court of ideas.
In the marketplace of ideas. Yeah, this is not a debate show. It never will be. And it's not a call-out show. It never will be.
It's not that either.
It'll never be a surprise you with you're canceled thing. Never gonna be that shit. And like,
it's about trust building on the front end and alignment in terms of values.
Don't recommend someone unless you literally know them.
I
would say it would be a good start. Because we're not gonna have them on until we talk to them first. This isn't like with some exceptions, this isn't really a show where we just have folks on that we've never talked to or don't know. For example, like the Nick situation, Z and Yedoye hadn't met him, but like I had talked to Nick personally over the phone and knew him for a minute before that happened. So it's like, we're just trying to do it
with some trust,
some familiarity, and I think it makes it better that way anyway.
I think it's grounding it in humanity also, and not being this transactional thing.
It's not like a no jumper interview. It's like, so you fucking, how do you fuck? It's not like an interview like that.
So you're a Crip. What's that like?
Yeah, what's jail like? What was jail like? Like, that's like It's like 50%.
That hand throw.
Yeah. Wow. So you're telling me people were in jail and they were acting like they were in jail because they were in jail? Whoa. I've never been in jail. I just do porn.
If I was in jail, that would be like fucked up, dude.
Wow, that's fucked up.
Oh.
I got Lisa Simpson on my head. That's crazy.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
And we're not trying to beef with other. That's just a joke. Just a cheeky joke. We're not, we don't know. Not trying to beef with anybody at all.
Fucking cares.
Anyways, all right.
Let's do the count.
Let's do it.
All right, on 4, fellas.
You want to do it?
Yeah, I'll
count it. Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4.